Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
For generations, fans of IndyCar could only dream of stepping into the cockpit and feeling the rush of going wheel to wheel at over 200 miles per hour. Thanks to the latest in sim racing technology, we can get one step closer. Talented, fearless drivers battle it out in virtual race cars to claim supremacy at some of the world's most demanding tracks. This is the RIL, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, presented by RaceBurst.
And welcome to RaceBurst coverage of Round 6 of the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaeffer IndyCar Series, coming to you from the proper version of Phoenix, the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix is only second to Milwaukee in the total number of IndyCar races held at the facility. It is one of the few tracks outside of Indianapolis to host USAC, kart, and IndyCar races over the course of its history, despite showing up on the schedule at least once yearly between 1964 and 2005. IndyCar is no longer a fixture at the historic track. The facility is now tightly in the grip of NASCAR, who have foolishly and needlessly reconfigured the track to the point where it's just a shadow of its former self. Tonight we'll race on the version of the track that most closely matches to what IndyCar greats of yesteryear raced on. Join us as the drivers of the RIL. We'll turn 186 laps, 300 kilometers here on what will surely be a race you want to miss. Joining us tonight and for analysis in the booth is my partner from Monday Night Indy Split, is from the NHR eSports team and the Lionheart IndyCar Series, is Stephen Markham. Stephen, what can we expect tonight from this version of the track?
Well, Phoenix has always been a track that has had its tricks to it, that it really gets the most out of the drivers for certain. It's definitely a driver's track, especially this configuration with a lot more bumps on the track. We don't have the smooth pavement like what NASCAR has given the new iteration of Phoenix, but unfortunately they've committed other forms of sacrilege that has pretty much damaged the track in my eyes. I do feel kind of salty about that, if I'm being honest here. But the proper version of Phoenix, as you say, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, this track will put the drivers to the test, and we've seen it before in practice tonight. A lot of drivers trying to get the feel for this place. Some of them doing it quite well. Others have been having a harder time of it, shall I say.
Sure has been. Actually, while we're talking about qualifying here, and we'll see some times actually pop up once some laps are completed, there are 3 track records here as it relates to IndyCar racing. First is the overall track record. That was set in 2017, the last time IndyCar visited here by Helio Castroneves for Team Penske. in his Chevy-powered DW12 chassis with a time and speed of 18.870 seconds, or a speed of 194.975 miles per hour. Woo! Second is the kart record set in 1995 by Brian Herta for Chip Ganassi Racing, driving a Firestone-shod Honda-powered Renard chassis with a time and speed of 19 seconds, .019, and a speed of 181.952 miles per hour. Third, and a little bit more slower and pedestrian, is a USAC Champ Car record set in 1978 by the Flying Hawaiian Danny Ungaius for Interscope Racing, driving a Goodyear-shod Cosworth-powered Parnelli chassis with a time of 36.25 seconds for a speed of 145.513 miles per hour. Stand by in the garage area. It's time to go racing. With that, it's time to look at tonight's starting lineup from Phoenix. But before we do, and if you enjoy Race First coverage of the RIL Schaeffer IndyCar Series and you respect the weekly broadcast, make sure you support us by smashing the like button below. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race. Go ahead, do it now. We'll wait for you. We greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get into it at Phoenix, as we are about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in qualifying, and we see right now provisionally on the pole is Alex Van de Sant, with the only one to break the 180-mile bracket.
Very impressive time so far by Alex Van de Sant, a 20.131, well off the track records we mentioned before with kart and even the IndyCar Series these days, the IRL if you prefer. And actually moving up into second place right now is Bruno Miranda in that 119 machine, who we've become quite acquainted to on the Monday night broadcast, to be sure. And this is really showing to me, well, for one thing, a lot of times are fairly close for a track that's very dependent on driving quality. All 33 drivers that have posted time so far, well, almost all of them. Michael Henkamp down at the bottom right now with a 21.138. He is just outside, within 1 second of our pole sitter, Alex Van de Sant. And a lot of drivers in the mid-pack are very close together with each other, as just separated by a hair's breadth between each of them. So this is saying that we have a lot of fast drivers out here tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that'll be antsy for position. So I think we're in for an exciting 186 lap.
The Brazilians are checking in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for checking in. We appreciate it. Fortunately, Matt's not able to join us tonight. He will join us again next week when we come to you from Long Beach. But we hope you don't mind Steven sitting in. This is kind of a familiar setting for both of us. We work every Monday night together on these oval tracks doing fixed setup races. And tonight might be more of the same, but looks like we're going to have a huge field.
Very huge field. And we discussed this before we went live tonight, but there will be only 36 cars allowed to take the start here tonight. So one of these drivers is unfortunately going to go home without having started this race. We have 37 entrants right now. And having a look as the clock runs down under a minute to go, it's saying that the driver currently on the bubble right now is Matthew Short in that number 35 machine. 3 drivers right now haven't posted times. They're probably saving it to the last second. So that's probably the only time we can really decide who stays and who goes.
Ooh, Matthew Short was he was on the podium last night in the exhibition race we had for FIS. So the transition to the road course to the oval, from the road course to the oval, is proving a little bit more difficult for him than some of these other guys. But 10 seconds left, and we will hop into this field very, very quickly, because we're not going to have a lot of time. There's only one lap here, and we're going to read off 36 names, it looks like. We'll see. I think Short made it. I don't think... Oh, no. He did not. Actually, we will see the list of names that didn't make it here shortly. But let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup if we can.
Matthew Short is out of this running, unfortunately. He has been removed as part of the rules, so a rough night already, and it's rather odd that he didn't post a qualifying time with that potential to happen.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's starting grid, coming to you from Phoenix. On the pole and making a kind of a regular stop on the pole here, Alex Van de Sant. This is a place he does very well at. P2, Bruno Miranda. P3, Justin Miller. Watch this guy. P4, Dakota DeMaid, the defending champion. P5, Matt Cosgrove. P6, Brody Garner. P7, Lewis Woodall with a great start. Sorry about that. 8, Dan Neese. 9th, Caleb Binsey. 10th, Peter Donchek with a great start. 11th, Joshua Tucker. And 12th, Johan Shirazi. I'll just go ahead and read off the rest of these here. I'll let you save it for the first lap. 13th is Nate. 13th is Nate Seifert, the FIS, the defending FIS champion. 14th is Nagasiya Yoshikawa. 15th, Sean Ryan. 16th, Maxon Obenauer. Man, that's such a James Bond name. I love it. 17th, Christian Jasper. 18th, James Watson. Moving on back, Michael Holler, 19th. 20th is World War III, Will Weisbrod, the third. 21st, Alex Teeter. 22nd, Shane Coogan coming from deep in the field. 23rd, Christopher Kresge. 24, Hayden Herman. 25th, Gavin Sanders coming from deep in the field. 26th, Lucas Santos. 27th, JJ Wang. 28th, Jonathan Libator. 29th, Neil Lusher. And 30th, Christopher Hill. Moving on back, 31st, Logan Spaeth. 32nd, Nick Mannery. 33rd, Ian Lake. 34th, Michael Hannicap. And showing no time, it's 35th, Derek Smith. And 37th is Nicholas Isidro. Actually, that's going to be 36th, Nicholas Isidro. And that rounds out your field.
Actually, interesting development here. One of the drivers starting towards the bag, Michael Hankamp in the 30 machine. He's actually disconnected from the server just as they're about to roll off here. Not certain what's happened to him, but we are getting ourselves rolling. And it'll be 186 laps, 186 miles as the track is 1 mile long. That's 300 kilometers at Phoenix Raceway. I think we're in for every single one of these likely to be a bit of excitement in its own way.
We'll bring the camera into our pole sitter, Alex Van de Sant, driving for Power Team, or Power Slide Racing, actually. Power Team was AJ Foyt, I'm sorry. But Power Slide Racing. We don't have teams, of course, in the RIL, but we do have drivers that will be working together in some form or another. But I believe Alex is solo tonight. Of course, we know Bruno Miranda from the Monday Night Indy Split, and he's on the outside pole here. We're getting ready to go green. And as we normally do on Mondays, I will let my partner go ahead and cover the start as I will cover the cameras.
Van de Sant on the throttle. We are green at Phoenix. A rough start for Bruno Miranda. Justin Miller looking to the inside in turn number 1. He will clear him. Not the best start for Miranda. Meanwhile, behind them, Dakota DeMay, Matt Cosgrove actually with a rough start as well. So these guys have got a lot of work to do. Van de Sant, meanwhile, doing everything he can. He's getting away just fine. A good start for our leader. He will lead lap number 1. And meanwhile, behind them, Dakota DeMay and Brody Garner, I should say, has gotten around Dakota DeMay. He's putting the pressure now on Bruno Miranda for 3rd. Everyone looking to find whatever line they can. Aero push will definitely be a factor, even with the big wings we've got here.
And really what's going to be a factor here very, very shortly because of the size of this field, lap traffic.
Very true. And maybe we'll be close on qualifying times, but that means nothing when the lap times are only 20 seconds apart. You're going to be catching up to lap cars really quick, especially if you're turning laps as good as what Alex Van de Sant's going. Last lap by was over a 1/10 of a second faster than the number 12 machine of Justin Miller behind him. He's certainly got, though I would imagine he's certainly looking in his mirrors a little bit more than Van de Sant is at the moment with that number 119. Actually, we got a slow car on the apron in turn number 3. Whoever that was has wisely kept it down there and not brought out a caution yet, but rough start for some of these drivers early on. Everyone seems to be getting themselves into order. Meanwhile, looking toward, had a little bit of smoke there coming on to pit row, but looking behind him, side by side for position number 12. That's James Watson and Joshua Tucker. Oh, we got a spin coming off of turn number 2. Caution is out. That is Sean Ryan in the number 909 machine.
All right, there we go. We're trying to get the ticker to actually show up properly with the number of laps. We kind of got that bug out of the system, but let's take a look here at this incident here that brought up our first yellow. Sean Ryan currently back showing in 32nd. He'll resume his spot on the grid because, of course, when the yellow came out, there were a couple cars that have yet to pass him, so he'll be able to pick up those spots. Doesn't look like he has any significant damage. Looks like he just might have got loose coming off the corner. There he is inside, getting loose off the corner. That's normally a sign of too much weight jacker, and I'm sure he has probably a ton of weight jacker rolled into that thing because of the aero push with the number of cars on this track.
Very true, and that's going to be significant here. A lot of people you may not think that with the wings as big as they are, you may not think that aero push may be an issue. Never underestimate aero push in the IndyCar. It will certainly happen, especially at the high speeds and the high downforce requirements that's needed for a lot of these corners. You're going to be lifting off the throttle a good bit. You're going to be playing with your tools. You're going to be playing with your anti-roll bars and your weight jacker. And seem to be in that case for the number 909 of Sean Ryan. Just maybe wrong tool for the wrong angle of attack there in the corner, and unfortunately sent him around. Thankfully, no damage though, so he's able to keep it going. He'll probably want to make enough ground there. He started 15th, and he's sitting on pit road. He's down and away now. Let's see what he can recover here.
Looks like everyone from 29th on back has pitted. Actually 31st on back. Neil Lusher is the first car to decide to jump in. Probably getting his tank topped off into the new set of tires. There are no tire limits here in the RIL. Another rule that we tend not to have in other leagues, but we have in here, is we do have the lucky dog. That is not a factor right now. But then Neil Lusher, first car to hit pit road for full service. Derek Smith right behind him. Sean Ryan, of course, involved in that spin. He obviously wanted to get a new set of tires. He is taking care of it. Ian Lake, which is also looks like one of those Team Supreme teammates there. He currently is showing in 34th. And he also hit pit road. On a extended pit road stay right now is Johan Shirazi. I'm not sure why he is. I don't see any damage to the car. Not sure why he's on pit road, but he is currently showing on pit road in an extended pit stop.
Shirazi was the car that was slow early on in the going that I mentioned before. He was slow on the apron in turns 3 and 4. I'm not entirely certain why that was, but something unfortunate must have befell him. Actually, I am having a look-see what exactly happened. It looks like it was actually contact with another car that sent him up into the wall and damaged his suspension there. So you may not have been able to see it visually, but that 007 machine has some right front suspension damage, unfortunately. So that may well be game over.
A couple more cars hitting pit road as we see down at the bottom of your screen. Of course, we're looking from the blimp view. A very uniquely shaped track with a dogleg in the back. Now that NASCAR has taken this place over, pretty much the entire area from what you see the exit of turn 2 all the way through that dogleg area is paved, and they allow the cars to somehow use that for races. But this is the original configuration of the track, and it's the more proper configuration.
Using the apron.
And we are getting ready. Anything else is uncivilized. We're getting ready to go green. And here we go, lap 11, going green here at Phoenix. Alex Van de Sande is your leader, followed by Justin Miller, Bruno Miranda, Brody Gardner, and Dakota DeMay, your top 5. Oh, car coming out in front of the leader right there. That looks like that's Johan Shirazi. Now we're going to have to see what happens with lap traffic kind of getting in the way.
This will be interesting. Everyone's going to be looking to get around him. Oh, Brody Gardner having to take a bit of a squeeze there.
Oh, Dakota did not like that one, I can tell you that.
Dakota DeMay is certainly not pleased either. He moves up high, lets Dan Neese, Caleb Benji, Mac Cosgrove is looking out to make a move on him now, and Peter Donchak behind him. These guys have got to worry not only about this lap car, but they got to worry about their own battle, and hopefully for the guy behind them, but not so much for the guy in front to use him as a pick. But this is a rough situation. Looks like everyone's getting through just fine, but I'm sure it was something that's little bout of frustration there for the guys that got held up coming off the corner for certain.
Apparently watching James Watson getting around Shirazi there, slower traffic. Got us some too wide racing in the back here with Shane Coogan he is on the move. He's using that high line to navigate. And you can talk a little bit more about the different lines around this place, but the low line is not the preferred line around here. Green wide going to the dog leg.
Oh, very close stuff. Shane Coogan Shane Coogan getting right in the middle of that. Has to back out of it.
Go!
Oh, problems coming out
Three
before.
cars
Big
into
wreck.
the wall.
Alex Teeter looks like is one of them.
JJ Wang was
as
one
well.
of them. Alex Teeter. Got Ian Lake showing up in the pits.
And Ian Lake has actually come onto pit road when that all happened and must have been ducking for cover or something, trying to avoid that accident. But that
I think
was
that
a
might have involved Johan Shirazi. That was trying just to stay out of trouble. Let's go back in time here and take a look at this incident from possibly another angle. Just got a little, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Let's see if we can get a better angle here. There.
Looks to me like Shirazi may have been an innocent victim in that one. Looking at it, the contact was right behind him. That is actually JJ Wang getting into the back of Alex Teeter.
Yeah, the closing rate on these cars are very, very fast. Yeah, and I think that is Wang really that kind of got into the back of Teeter there. Teeter goes into Shirazi. Shirazi, yeah, he was the innocent bystander. So I think what happened is that we might have had, and we still got time here that we can go back in time here and take a look inside of, let's go inside of JJ Wang's car. Let's check the roll bar here and see what he sees from his point of view. But I think Teeter checked up.
Yeah, I think they were attempting to check up there to give the lap car as much space as possible, and unfortunately for Wang, kind of
yeah, he was shooting. It looks like he was shooting for a hole that closed up rather quickly.
Yeah, and again, he's trying to use the lap car as a pick, and unfortunately the gap just closed as it was about to happen. So very unfortunate for both JJ Wang and Alex Teeter, as well, of course, as the lap car of Johan Shirazi, who's had a torrid night. He's already 10 laps down at this point. Very well out of contention for really many positions, unless, of course, we get a lot of incidents. But very rough going early on for these guys.
As you also saw how quickly Alex kind of rolled up on the scene there. So that just kind of tells you where that happened as it relates to kind of the rest of the field. This is a very, very large field. We'll get that blimp static cam up again. Here we go again. Look at that field. As they're in the dog leg, the tail end of the field is just kind of exiting turn one area.
Yeah, it's amazing how the lap cars can come into play so quickly. And I'm always reminded of one particular race in the K&N series, I should say, in NASCAR at Bowman Gray Stadium back in 2012. Kind of a similar air to that, except with a lot more cars in this case, and the track's obviously a lot bigger. But Bowman Gray, you can run into lap cars very, very quickly, even like 5 laps or so. And that's sort of a similar situation we're finding here with a field of 36 that took the green flag on a 1-mile oval. So it makes you wonder how NASCAR can do it with 40 cars here. With IndyCar with 36, it's pretty tricky.
Yeah, that's a very un-IndyCar type field size for a 1-mile oval. Back in the day, you would probably see 20, 22, 23, 24 maybe cars max on here. I know certainly when the IRL was running here, they were fielding about 20 cars, and that was still a pretty packed field as well in terms of getting around and getting the lap traffic. So yeah, it's 36 cars here. I think if one person is kind of glad that the field is thinning a little bit, it's probably Alex Van de Sant, who doesn't have to encounter him as quick now. But we're showing Teeter, Wang, and Shirazi out. 32 cars left on the track. Looks like everybody from about 25th on back has made another pit stop to top off. So they're playing the long game. We will see what goes on. Back under green, Alex Van de Sant is your leader. Looks like Justin Miller was trying to get a run on him. Almost had to check up a little bit before getting into the rear attenuator there of Alex. But we are underway here, lap 20 here of 186 at Phoenix.
Decent. Very good start for Justin Miller this time. He read Van de Sande. He waited for the right opportunity to get the throttle down. And he's staying with him very well. Working lap number 21 here as Miller looking like he's going to be sticking with him. Miranda as well. And so Van de Sande has got a bit more pressure on him this time. Of course, it's still early days, so these guys, if they're really playing for the win, as it were, they're going to be preserving their equipment, preserving their tires, maybe saving fuel a little bit, going off of how many incidents we've had so far and how many cars have come on to pit road in the course of the 2 cautions we've had thus far. But once again, as we're seeing, Van de Sande with that clean air, now he's opening up the gap a little bit to Miller, and Bruno Miranda working that higher line in 3 and 4.
Dan Neese have a bit of a problem. He's running high in turns 3 and 4, and he's now getting to the freight train going into turn 1. We're looking back at P12 at the moment as everyone is starting to kind of log jam up behind him. Right behind him is Joshua Tucker, Shane Coogan, who's up deep from the field, and Gavin Sanders also up 10 spots.
Interesting situation for Dan Neese. He's having to fend off a lot of attackers right now. Joshua Tucker seems to be he's working that high line now in 1 and 2, trying to get the one in the middle of the corner, not quite working there this time, but something has certainly gone awry for Dan Neese. He started 8th, he's currently 12th, and now under pressure for that very position. And meanwhile, the two of them have got Shane Coogan.
Cars wrecking on the front stretch. We got let's see that. Nate Seifert, the defending FIS champion. He was spinning on the front stretch. It looks like it's a 1 car. Oh, whoa, guys. Oh, okay. He goes ahead and resets. But let's check out what happened here. We're on lap 25. I don't think he got it to 25 yet. I think he was at 24. He might have just got to the line. But let's take a look at what happened here as we rewind.
Looks like some contact with the 7 machine of Matt Cosgrove that does him in there.
Oh, yeah, Cosgrove comes up on him. 2-car wreck. Wow, yeah. Who was that green car behind him? Had to do some very, very evasive maneuvers. Really, really quick.
That was the 57 of Peter Donchak. Amazing avoidance by him.
See if we can't. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, there he is. Let's go back and let's let's get in his car and have
a look at this, because this was very good wreck avoidance on his part. Sees the car coming low, swerves up high, manages to avoid the worst of it. Well done to him.
Oof. Oof. He's probably gathering some breaths there, thinking, thank God. But Peter Donchak now up in 10th. Actually, he's in the top 10 now. He's in position number 7. He's been working his way up. And that's he's working on a good day that he doesn't want to quite end prematurely from getting caught up in someone else's mess.
Very much so. And he's off to a solid start so far. He started 10th, currently in 7th position. And I imagine playing the long game here, and it very much be in the position to do so. With only 27 laps complete right now, I'm sure a lot of these guys that aren't mired in the pack right now, especially people that aren't, say, Shane Coogan, who himself has made a great effort so far. He started 22nd. He's currently 11th, one of our biggest movers thus far. And someone in Donchak's position, I'd be happy with the position I am. Maybe pick off a couple cars in front if the opportunity prevails. But at the same time, I'm just going to be working my tires, to their, well, not too hard at the moment. I'm just going to be taking it easy, running the track position I've got, and just trying to make my pit stops as good as possible.
Joined on pit road, Michael Haller, the Dover champion from last year, on pit road. Nagasiya Yoshikawa on pit road, coming in for regular stops. So again, they're playing the long game. They are going to top off their tanks, get a new set of tires on their car. Again, no tire limits in the RIL. Don't have to worry about that. They could pit every single lap if they wanted to and throw a new set on. It is okay. But they are pitting and they are good to go. What's about a run here? It's about 50 laps or so, 60 laps or so?
About Around 60 laps is what I would expect to see with a full green flag run and no concerns and no like fuel saving at all. So these guys would have just barely a 3-stop race anyway. There would be a little bit of fuel save, but a lot of those guys may be able to pull that off with lifting in the draft. It's certainly something you'd see on a lot of short track ovals like Iowa Speedway and Richmond Raceway. So these guys would have a very close call on fuel anyway, but they certainly would be able to make 3 stops. But these guys behind are playing it safe, probably playing to a different strategy as well, and trying to get a leg up on some of the guys that haven't come in for fuel yet, even if they enjoy that all-desired, all-coveted track position.
Currently going through the field at the moment, there is 2-time champion here in the RIL, Caleb Bency, defending champion right there, Dakota DeMaine, as I think we're getting ready to go green here as the pace car is getting ready to get off the track, and the field is back under the command of Alex Van de Sant. Alex Van de Sant has led every single lap so far, getting ready to go green here at Phoenix again, lap 30 going green.
Back on the throttle once more. Alex Van de Sant with a good jump. A bit better this time over Justin Miller. Miller hasn't quite been ditched, though, but he's still got Bruno Miranda and that number 119 machine to worry about right now for P2. A very good start now by Van de Sant, by everyone involved there, running that medium line there. But I'm looking behind them.
Three distinct lines going through that corner, if you saw that on that lap.
Yeah, there were 3 distinct lines you can pick here. And it's certainly not a one-lane racetrack, but it's not easy to run multiple lanes here. It's certainly very possible, though, especially with all the aero push involved, as Brony Garner looks to the inside on Bruno Miranda coming off of turn number 4. Not quite there yet, but Garner now putting the pressure on these guys for a podium spot early in the going. And they've opened up a bit of a gap over Dakota DeMay, who's probably just going to be taking it easy, putting in cruise control right now, and saving up fuel, saving up tires for the end of this race. And we actually got some cars coming on the pit road there, some lap cars. More people having issues here with this big field. Oh, Miranda, bit of a wiggle there in turn 1 and 2, running way up high there. And Garner putting the pressure on him for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to pass on the low side here because you have so much momentum on the high side, and that's on both ends of the racetrack. The high side on turns 1 and 2, even though it's the short radius of the 2 turns, is the faster line around there. The higher line through 3 and 4 is the faster line, but really the only open place to try to pass someone is down low, and it's extremely difficult for a number of reasons. Not only because the car up top has the momentum, but especially down low in turns 1 and 2, it kind of disrupts the car down there and gets a little loose.
Exactly. It's very hard to do that, and especially if you are trying to go for the low line in the middle of the corner, which is what these guys would want to do, and for really any opportunity to get by on the low line here, which as you mentioned before, that's really the only way you are able to get it done unless the driver in front makes a serious error. But down on the low line there, you may have a lot of a run on entry, but then in the middle of the corner, the grip goes away. You have to back off the throttle to avoid either hitting the guy next to you or, worst case, hitting the wall.
Got a battle brewing a little bit further on back. Shane Coogan is all over the backside of Peter Donchik. Shane up 14 spots.
Hard charge so far for Shane Coogan. He's got a good run on Donchak, running up to the high side there.
Yeah, and he's got him on the high side. He's got him on the high side. There's nothing Donchak can do about it. Right now, all Donchak has got to do is defending the position from Gavin Sanders now. Gavin Sanders now looking to the low side, going into turns 1 and 2 on Donchak, and not quite able to pull it off just because of what we were just talking about. Whoa, Lewis Woodall looking right there, almost getting into the wall. 2 cars behind him, Wes Weisbrod, James Watson trying to look for position. Also coming up the middle, Nicholas Isidro. He started way in the back. He is up 23 spots, and he is looking for a way around. So we're looking for a battle right here for top 10 spot as Lewis Woodall is in P10, trying to hold on as Will Weisbrod right below him. Doesn't have the faster line, but he's definitely not giving up.
Definitely not giving up, and a great drive thus far. Oh, caution is out. Trying to see where it is.
Oh, we got Hayden Herman involved in the wreck. Got a couple cars involved in the wreck. Nagasiya Yoshikawa is involved in the wreck here. We should probably go back in time here and find out what happened. I don't know exactly what happened. Oh, okay. Hayden Herman, I think, had to check up or something coming off of 2, because he lost. Well, let's play this out a little bit more. Oh, okay. Let's pick this up. Hayden Herman, apron bad. Now getting back underway, getting past there on the by Dan Neese, I think, and yeah, it's Dan Neese. It just going slow, and and then it looks like Christian Jasper kind of got loose on exit and collected Hayden a little bit. Hayden was kind of might have been a little bit of an innocent bystander there, and then Yoshikawa got caught up in it, and he's innocent as well, but his day is done. So now we're back to yellow conditions, and we got a leader on pit road, or something happened. Alex Van de Sande is on pit road. There he is. So Alex is coming in, and as I like to say, if you ever want to, if you ever want to do fuel strategy or good race strategy, just do what Alex does, and that's exactly what Justin Miller's doing. As Justin Miller also hits pit road along with Dakota the Maid, Caleb Bency, and Shane Coogan.
Down in the way, so that's Van de Sande, Miller, Dakota Meg, Shane Bency, Caleb Bency, Shane Coogan, Gavin Sanders, and Peter Donchak. This is going to be an interesting call here. The first round of pit stops, working lap number 42 here, so this would be a good enough moment to do it with tire wear being the way it is. Everyone's going to be wanting to get fresh rubber, but the question mark I have here will be the cars that have not pitted. Of course, Bruno Miranda is one of them. Brody Garner, too. So, and we got a few more coming on the pit road as well in front of Alex Van de Sande. So he's going to be getting a few spots. He's going to be having a look, seeing what cycles out here. Pit and the timing and scoring line here is an interesting one here at Phoenix. Of course, it's literally right next to pit lane. And with the slow pace speed here and how close everyone is at this point, gonna be a little bit to get everything together, but Van de Sande will still be in the top 10 once everything cycles out here. So it's not gonna be the worst situation for him, but it's still gonna be something that he hasn't been used to for the first run of this race, and that is actually having to pass clean people and fight for it.
Yeah, clean air. So we're getting ready to complete lap 44 here, coming up to 44, completing lap 43. The top 7 have not pitted, so that's Bruno Miranda. We'll go through the field here. Brody Gardner and that Ferrari-looking scheme that he's got there. Lewis Woodall driving for GSM Racing and Team Vor. Will Weisbrod back there in P4. Maxon Obenauer, like I said, man, that's like a James Bond villain name. I love it. He is currently sitting in P5. Christopher Hill, P6, and Lucas Santos in P7. Those guys have not pitted. Specifically starting with Weisbrod up 16 spots, Obenauer up 11, Hill up 24, Santos up 19. So they are banking for probably a couple more cautions to happen between now and when they want to pit. How many more laps do you think these guys have in their tank? They are gone 44 laps on their current stint. You think they maybe got another 20 or so in them, or less than that?
That would sound about right. Maybe a tiny bit more if they really stretch it, but it's going to be... But I'd imagine 20 laps is about what we're going to see. And also Sparathaw as well for the 909 of Sean Ryan, who brought the first caution earlier. He's up to 8th, but now it's Bruno Miranda who gets on the throttle. He's leading the way, and I'm sure he loves it here at Phoenix.
Yeah, Sean Ryan's kind of in that same group. He pitted on lap 37, so he's also on a bit of a long run as well. Keep in mind, if these guys all pit in front of him, he will pick up the lead unless he gets passed between now and then. because he's only he is 8 laps short of the guys in front of him. Actually, he's getting passed right now by Dan Neese, who's back up into the action.
And here comes Van de Sant to capitalize on that as well. Here comes the fresh tires I just mentioned. This is going to be the big thing for Van de Sant. He has the freshest rubber of all the guys in front of him. Those Firestone Firehawks are going to be working at their utmost to get him up there. He's already cleared one, and we'll see how many more he can clear before the leaders all have to come on the pit road, and this will be very firmly a race of differing strategies.
Will Zeller in chat, at this rate, Alex will be able to go to the end without another stop. That is entirely conceivable with Alex Van de Sant.
Maybe.
Oh, Shane Coogan, deep send on the outside, and we're cautioned yet again.
Trying to find
Jonathan Liebertor. Jonathan Liebertor looks like in turn 3. Let's go back in the back, way back machine, find out what happened here. And looks like he was in a bit of a battle with Michael Holler. So let's do this. Let's get in the in-car here, Michael Holler, see if we might have had potential contact or net code. Net code. Net code. So I don't think we saw anything there that's going to come back in race control and result in a penalty. That looks very net codey to me.
Looking at the chat, Jonathan Liebertor says there himself, that was the worst net code I have ever seen. A big shame for Jonathan Liebertor. He had a solid night going for him. He started 28th. He was working his way into the top 20. Unfortunately for him, the silent killer of the iRacing IndyCars strikes again, and it's taken out Jonathan Liebertor. Big shame for him.
One of these,
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, see if we see one of these. This doesn't really show it very well. Let's see if we can't get on a blimp here. There we go. Blimp's probably going to show you better. Where these guys don't even make contact. There's at least another tire width there. Here we go, right through the dog leg. Holler giving him plenty of room. Yeah, there's a quarter of a car width between the two of them. That's so unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time.
That is frustrating. I can empathize with that. Like when you're nowhere near the car next to you and you get a netcode incident like that. Liebertor actually said himself that on his screen, at least, there was almost a whole car between them. So for him, it was even worse. So
Nate the Great in chat is saying, Nate the Great in chat saying, netcode giveth and netcode taketh. And there's a car getting the wave around that you just saw right there. That was one of the Team Supreme cars getting the wave around. We do have the lucky dog here in the league. Not one of my more favorite rules. They should probably get rid of it, but that's just my editorial.
Maybe something to talk about in a little maybe a little show we could make on the series. You never know. But Bruno Miranda still enjoying the lead he's got right now. We're working lap 51 here out of 186. It's Miranda, Brody Garner, Lewis Woodall in P3, Will Weisbrod III, World War III in P4, Christopher Hill, Maxon Obenauer, Lucas Santos, Dan Neese, Alex Van de Sant, our pole sitter, is 9th, and Sean Ryan, recovering from a spin earlier, runs in 10th.
All right, we're going to give some airtime to our sponsors, Schaeffer Oil. We'll do a little side-by-side before we go green. Stand by. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Here's a word from our sponsors.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
At Schaeffer Oil, the series sponsor for the second year in a row. I want to thank them very much for returning to the Revolution IndyCar League top series here. They're getting ready to go green, I believe.
Yep, lights are out on the iRacing pace car. Bruno Miranda once again will have to defend from Brody Garner, and another guy, as we mentioned before, to keep an eye out for is Alex Van de Sant. He's still on fresh rubber relative to the guys ahead. We'll see what these worn-out tires will mean to these leaders.
Look at them playing a little games there, gamesmanship on trying to get a run on each other there. Gardner and Miranda. Miranda not taking that familiar line up top. He just kind of just goes, but there's no danger from Gardner trying to take the spot on the outside. But sorry, the camera angle just got lost there. Lewis Woodall is going to probably take a good look here. Let's try to get the cameras back. There we go. He's right there on the attenuator, and he's trying to get underneath them here coming out of 4.
Lewis Woodall with a good start there, has to run through that arrow wash of the car in front of him. Now he's trying to work a bit of a higher line in 1 and 2 than Brody Garner is. That VOR number 13, as unfortunately for him, it looks like he's losing ground. And meanwhile, he's got the 60 of Will Weisbrod behind him. So he's from a good start already. Looks like he's already being put into a pressure chamber right now by Will Weisbrod and Christopher Hill behind him, who's looking to be the interested spectator in this battle for third. Keeping an eye once more on Alex Van de Sant as well, as he's working to the outside of Maxon Obenauer, running way up close to the wall there. The high line in 3 and 4 doing what he hopes it would do. Obenauer cutting back in on the low line there, but Van de Sant will clear him on the high line. He's up to 8. Keeping an eye on him. He'll be picking and trying to pick off cars left, right, and center here before these leaders have to make their pit stops in, I'd wager, just under 15 laps from now.
Here comes Shane Coogan to the inside, taking a look at Justin Miller, but right behind him, Sean Ryan, making no bones about it. He's very racy right now, and he's almost sitting in the back seat of Coogan at the moment.
Sean Ryan actually a bit down on positions from where he was before. I think he's on a bit older rubber right now.
Yeah, he is.
Compared to Coogan. Coogan, meanwhile, has that same issue with the arrow push there as Ryan looks on the low side. Nothing doing there. He has to back out of it. But Coogan running all over the back of Justin Miller, who started third, was running second for a good chunk of this race. Now finds himself mired in the pack here, not having a hard time following up on the progress that Alex Van de Sant has had.
Justin, very fast. Drove for me, actually gave me my first win as a team owner, and actually it was in a truck series of all places. And very fast. Oh, I was just watching this battle between Dan Neese and Alex Van de Sant. Almost contact there. Good thing Netco didn't take over. But Justin Miller, very, very fast. Just needs to be patient, and the car will come to him. I don't know. Oh, we got crashed in the back. That is Christopher Hill at the dog leg.
That was 5th place. Christopher Hill is around, and looks to me, as everyone tried to get out of the way there, having a look-see there. Oh,
yeah.
He had to check up on exit of turn number 2 behind the 60 of Will Weisbrod, and unfortunately, it caught him out.
I think he just kind of got loose. Yeah, he got caught up and then gets loose on... See, what happens is you unload the car when you have to slow down. And remember that the faster you're going... Oh, there's another car that slid through there. Who was that?
Oh, trying to pick out who that was.
That's one of the Team Extreme cars down there. Gavin Sanders.
Oh, there's
Caleb
a car Benchy.
Car in the air.
Caleb Benchy went airborne.
Wow.
Behind him there. Oh, Lordy. He actually hit the curb. What he did there, he hit the curb for the corner of the infield road course.
Yeah. Wow.
Sent him airborne.
Oh, man. If there's not more than nose damage done to that car, I'd be highly surprised. Although we have seen with Marcus Ericsson, these cars are pretty strong.
Yeah. As much as we harp on the point that the suspension of these cars can be very easy to bend if you hit the wall, the chassis of the Dallara IR18, that's another story. But I'm looking at Caleb Benchy right now. He actually got his front wing changed, and we'll see if that's just the only damage he's got, or if something else something else is ailing him, but either way, that suspension probably took a clobbering that I don't know if it's going to be liable to forgive him for after this race.
You know, with jumps like that, I expect to hear Waylon Jennings and the Baldelier talk about how the Duke boys are in trouble right now. Surprisingly enough, the leaders are not pitting. They are staying out to the bitter end here. We're going now to lap 63, starting 63 here of 186. I don't think we're going to reach a time limit. We'll see. We've been a little bit of eye pacing, but we need to get in a long green run, which I think we will here eventually. But man, everyone is putting the pressure on everybody. There is no letting up from any position up and down this entire grid.
Honestly, I'm very surprised looking at the 4 leaders in particular: Bruno Miranda, Brody Garner, Will Weisbrod, and Lucas Santos. Alex Van de Sant, the guy that started on the pole, led the most laps thus far, and has one of the fastest cars all night for certain. He's running P5 right now after everything that's happened. But with these 4 leaders, I can't imagine them staying out for longer than another 10 laps maybe, if they fuel saved as well as they should have. But I really am scratching my head about whether this strategy is going to work out in their favor or not, especially what makes me wonder is if they're banking on another caution coming out in the next 5 laps or so and then coming in, because other than that, I'd question the rationale behind staying out for as long as this.
Joshua Tucker, kind of in the mid-pack between in the top 15 there, decides to take the turn down pit road. Let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to top it off, or is he going to go for the full service? Going for full service. New tires, topping off the tank. He is playing the long game. He is not going to make it. He'll still have to do another stop, but he is definitely hoping for probably a long green run at this point in time. It's also a long time on pit road. I'm not quite sure. He might have damage, too. That might be another thing that we're not seeing here. Currently in the box for 40 seconds. Maybe even got a black flag. Not sure. We're not real sure, but Joshua Tucker on pit road. Let's get back to our leader, Bruno Miranda. We're getting ready to go green. Everyone is up top, and then here we go. Green flag, and we got a wreck. We have Alex Van de Sant.
Van de Sant
is missing part of a wing. He had to check up.
Or spinning off of turn number 2 as well. One in the grass. Not certain who that was,
Michael
but
Haller.
Alex Van de Sant. Michael Haller's around, but Van de Sant with a broken front wing. Oh no. The dominant car of the day has to come onto pit road.
Are we still green?
We are still green.
We are still green, so
yeah.
That's definitely gonna hurt. That's gonna definitely hurt Michael Haller. Now we're cautioned. Max on Obenauer. Now that's a caution that Haller needed big time.
Max and Obenauer seems to be the one that brought out the yellow. An incident in turn number 2.
Okay.
And, he actually gets hit by Nicholas Isidro.
And I guess a little help from Isidro. Let's try to get the best view here. Isidro just washes up right into him. Manages to get through that, but gets collected by, I'm not sure who that other one, maybe Nick Mannery. Was that Nick? Not sure who was in the, that car. I'm sure it was. I can't remember. Let's go through the...
From the chatter on the radio about... The chatter on the radio about the Alex Van de Sant situation, Dan Neese is actually apologizing right now to Van de Sant. And he was attributed to, as we mentioned before, a bit of gamesmanship, a bit of trying to psych each other out trying to check each other up on this restart there on the part of guys like Bruno Miranda, Brody Garner, all those guys. So unfortunately for Van de Sant, his day is going to be a lot harder. He's a lap down. He'll probably, unless he doesn't get the lucky dog on this caution.
Ian Lake is getting the lucky dog right here.
Ian Lake will get the lucky dog, so he'll have to wait for another yellow to get waved around. He's certainly got a fast car underneath him, so he'll likely hold on to that position unless, of course, something tragic happens. But Van de Sant went from a night where everything was coming up roses. Fortunately now, not so much.
So I'm not sure who was in that Allied car, but they got caught up in it as well. Now the field is really thinning out. Let's get back up to the front here with your leader, Bruno Miranda not stopping. Dan Neese is stopping. He might have rear damage that he wants to get looked at. So he will stop, giving the position up to Justin Miller. Shane Coogan, Gavin Sanders, Sean Ryan will all make up one position there.
I really am curious as to how long Miranda and Garner are able to keep this up for. It really doesn't strike me as being able to do it for too terribly much longer. Again, as I'd say, about 10 laps maybe at most. Of course, there's been a lot of chances for fuel saving here, so it could be that they've really managed to stretch out the fuel for as long as they possibly can. But at the same time, if we get that long green flag run that we're definitely anticipating here, and with the field thinning out as it is, I'm still questioning the sagacity of this strategy.
Yeah, we got right now 23 cars out of the 36 that started this race. Anybody that's on pit road right now, showing Nick Mannery there with an extended stop. I don't think he's going to, I don't know if he's still in the car or not, but he has not punched out from the game yet. He's still showing active on pit road. But everybody else on pit road right now is currently showing out. So we have 23 cars left on the track, which we should see now on the ticker. That should include everybody on the ticker. So you see Alex Van de Sant there, 1 lap down. Tucker 1 lap down. Holler 1 lap down. Christopher Kresge 3 laps down. So any next caution here, Alex gets back on the lead lap. Next caution after that, Tucker gets back on the lead lap. Next caution after that, Holler gets back on the lead lap. So these 3 guys, with the way it's going, have a good chance of possibly getting back on the lead lap. We'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm beginning to question these top 4. They obviously are knowing more than what we know at the moment. They're getting some awesome mileage right now, and they are certainly playing the long game, maybe to the point where they just might have to make only 1 stop. I don't know how they can pull that off. We'll see. But they are getting ready to go green here, going to lap 71 here of 186, 300K at Phoenix.
Miranda again trying to check up the leaders. Green flag back in the air. He gets a good jump over Garner and Weisbrod, but that has caused a stack up behind him. Lucas Santos now under pressure from Justin Miller for P4, and as well as Shane Coogan and Gavin Sanders, both on a tear from the start of this race. These guys, that whole checkup there at the start has caused a major battle back here in the mid part of the top 10. Once again, Miranda finding himself in clean air as he certainly wants. It makes me wonder how much he's it makes me saying that it's obvious to me that these leaders are banking on more quick cautions coming out.
Coogan looking on the inside there of Justin Miller.
Coogan looking down low, nothing quite doing, and Gavin Sanders looking for an opportunity as well. Coogan now looking to the high line on the number 12 machine. Again, not quite getting the run he needs, but not so much for the fall of the momentum, but so much that he had to avoid running into the back of that black number 12 machine. He looks to the outside once more. He's got a much better run this time, and he is clear of Justin Miller up to P5.
Gavin Sanders to the inside of turn 1.
Sanders, a little bit of a push there, has to avoid that.
John Ryan almost had an incident behind him. And we're cautioned again, and it's Caleb Bency and Joshua Tucker.
Joshua Tucker saying right there, why would you go 3 wide? So 3 wide situation with Benchi, Tucker, and another car trying to pick out who that was.
That is the 14
Dan
Neese. So all these guys are battling for position. This is not a very I'm sorry, I don't want to give a lot of criticism here, and in chat feel free to talk about this in chat too. 3 wide at this point in the race is still a little iffy. And
there's actually a spin.
Yeah.
Bruno Miranda had to dodge that as he finally comes on the pit road along with Brony Garner and Will Weisbrod.
Oh, there was a spin on pit road?
Spin coming on the pit road from one of the damaged cars from that incident, looks like. I believe that was... Tucker. Was that Bency? I think it was Caleb Bency.
Yeah, we'll have to fast forward here. We're watching right now, trying to fast forward in time here. And...
yes, it was Caleb Bency. He was...
oh, yeah, there's Caleb right there spinning out. So he decides just to punch out. That is going to be, that's one of the points leaders right there, and that is going to be a tough pill to swallow. Now your leader, and he still hasn't stopped, is Lucas Santos. So he's going to get credit for a lap lead here. He's going to get the bonus point. Back on the lead lap now is Alex Van de Sant. I told you it was going to happen. There he goes.
Yeah.
You're getting the wave around. So don't rule out Alex. If he's on the lead lap, he is a threat. Shane Coogan, currently P2. I know firsthand Shane Coogan is extremely fast here. This guy ran me down by, I think I got a second lead on him on a great restart here when we were racing the Velocity Online Racing League. He ran me down in the closing laps of that race and ended up getting the position over me. I made my car as wide as possible to protect my teammate that was ahead of me, and I made it very difficult for him to pass me. But he ran me down, passed me, and yeah, I just know firsthand that he is extremely fast here, extremely fast. Yeah, big brain move I'm seeing right there by Nate the Great in chat. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing to do, go 3 wide into turn 1 at Phoenix. 3 wide anytime is really not a good thing, maybe except on the last lap or something like that. But when you still have half the race to go, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pull that. I know that positions are hard to come by, but with so much attrition going on, the easiest pass is the one you don't make because it's the car on pit road.
Exactly. It's actually what I mentioned in the Road America race on Monday night, that more often than not in official races, this is the sort of thing you see where if you just keep the car out of the wall, the position comes to you by way of other cars having problems and by way of getting it on pit road, and of course passing people as well, which of course you'd love to do anyway. But with the rate of attrition we're seeing here, going 3 wide more often than not is not going to help. It's really only going to contribute to the attrition, as we saw there. So very unfortunate.
Bruno Miranda back on pit road.
Miranda is back on pit road. Interesting. Probably the top off fuel once more. He's down and away very quick there. So I imagine that's just a splash of fuel to get himself over the hump and get him to whatever number he was set to go for.
There's one of the Ally cars, and Derek Smith. I don't know if I was trying to identify another one wrong. I don't know if we have multiple. Getting ready to go green here. Lucas Santos has not pitted. He is now 78 laps into the stint. He has 78 lap old tires compared to the 25 lap tires, or 37 lap old tires of Shane Coogan. And we are back underway, and it's going to be interesting right here. Also, I have at the top on the ticker, I have the time remaining. This might turn into a timed race, so we'll keep that as a secondary. We'll keep a secondary eye on that. But right now, 79 of 186, starting 180 right here, and Shane Coogan 3/10 back from the leader. He's got to still fight through with pretty used tires. He's got to fight through aero push. There's no guarantee that he has, since he has younger tires, that he's going to be able to run them down.
No guarantee, but a better chance I would wager than Santos is right now, because he's had to deal with a lot of the aero push issues that Coogan is dealing with right now. And Santos has probably got to be squirming on those tires right now. I think I saw that a little bit when he was running the low line in 3 and 4. But Coogan now all over the gearbox of that number 4. Looking to the high line, trying to use whatever, and trying to use as much grip as possible. And that high line is certainly where it's at. Santos trying to protect that low line. Santos actually over the radio saying for Coogan that he may well not be much of an issue pretty soon as Coogan goes to the high line there. He's actually, looks like he's letting him go here. So new leader, it's the 29 of Shane Coogan.
Coogan up 21 spots. And in fact, these guys have kind of been running together for the most part. This up 21 for Coogan, 23 apiece for Gavin Sanders and Lucas Santos. They all started in the same spot.
Santos is coming in. Santos is on the pit road on lap 83. Unfortunately for him,
that's questionable. That is going to cost him a lap.
This was the point I was making earlier with Bruno Miranda, that you never want a green flag pit stop. On a track as short as Phoenix, you never want that. Unfortunately for Santos, he stuck it out for longer than I would have advised. And unfortunately now he's on pit road. He's gone a lap down right now. So lead has now switched to the 29 of Shane Coogan, who himself is actually, as the caution comes out, he was under pressure from Gavin Sanders. Lewis Woodall is around up at 2.
Now, did he hit anything? He looks like that he might have all corners attached. Unfortunately, that's going to might cost.
Dakota DeMay was so close. That was a self spin there, but DeMay was incredibly close to being involved in that. Luckily, he wasn't, and luckily both for him and Lewis Woodall, they are both going to be able to fight it out another day.
Let's watch this from the point of view. Oh, okay, so it looks like Lewis smacked the wall on entrance, hit the apron a little bit, got the back end loose. Dakota dives underneath him, gets the position. I don't think, and let's check out Lewis's car right here as I don't think he hit anything. Let's go back in time again, take a look at that. You might hear him tap the wall on corner entry. Let's watch this. Yeah, there's that sound. And then apron bad.
Tap a wee bit, and then he gets his left front on the apron in the middle of the corner. And as we all know,
he's lucky that he did not get hit. But yeah, apron bad. I tell you what, if we do any merch or anything, that is going to be a T-shirt right there. I know the I5G guys have obeyed the meatball or whatever, but apron bad is something that we need to run the T-shirt of, because that is said quite frequently.
Hey, the day might come. That'd be awesome to see. But yes, apron bad, and Lewis Woodall found that out firsthand, unfortunately. He is being shown down in 17th position right at this moment. And keeping an eye once more on Alex Van de Sant, as we mentioned before. If he's on the lead lap, he is a threat. Our pole sitter is now in 14th out of the 18 cars on the lead lap. He's got a lot of chances to get back up there. Let's see what he can do. And he's actually ahead of Bruno Miranda at this point, because Miranda came in on to top off the fuel.
Yeah, that's the assumption that he's coming in to top off the fuel. Not quite sure for, well, we got to, I thought maybe he was ducking in again, but no, he's not. Oh, wait a minute. He is ducking in again. He's hit pit road again with Michael Haller, so let's watch him hit pit road. Let's see if he goes up on the jacks.
Will this be fresh rubber for Miranda?
Yeah,
yes,
well,
they're
gonna put new tires. But again, we don't have tire limits here, so you can change as many tires as you want.
True.
And down and away, he's waiting for Kresge to pass.
So
he's waiting for Haller to pass. And he gingerly and very casually pulls out and drives off. I think he's expecting more carnage.
That's certainly what my guess would be. He's expecting the attrition to continue the way it has. But with us being whittled down lap after lap after lap, we currently only have 22 cars left in the race out of the 36 that started. I'm hesitant to think, actually, as he's coming in again.
And I think Lucas Santos might get the lucky dog. I'm showing him in 19th spot, 1 lap down. The first car 1 lap down. He might get the lucky dog. That pit stop, because of where the caution fell, might not have hurt him as badly as we thought it would.
Probably not as bad as we feared. It's still not the situation he would have liked. But as once again, we're coming to green here, so we'll have to wait for another caution for that to be the case. He's also got Michael Haller.
He's not to wave around then, because if we're coming to green right now.
Whoa! Van de Sant almost gets hit again. Neil Lusher checking up there hard, way away from the car ahead of him. But as the pace car is down, green flag back in the air. Shane Coogan leads the way over Gavin Sanders. They're looking to pull away from Peter Donchek behind him.
And that's Joshua Tucker between P2. Oh, and Tucker spins!
Tucker's around!
And he gets contact with Donchek.
And Dakota DeMeg's in it as well. And more cars are involved in it too, including Lucas Santos. Bruno Miranda just scrapes by. But this was this is the certain thing that Miranda is looking for. This was an ARCA break situation, as Van de Sande said himself in the chat there. This was definitely the big one of the night thus far. Unbelievable.
All right, let's get back into this. Let's see what happened here. I believe it started with Donchek. It was Tucker,
Joshua Tucker.
Let's watch this again.
Tucker said himself he didn't expect to not be sent to the back of the pack there, but he loses it on his own. And the 57 of Donchak is sent scrambling. He actually does get clipped there, but he gets sent around. And unfortunately, Dakota DeMay tried to check up. He couldn't really go anywhere.
James Watson with another move of the night. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's kind of go. Maybe James Watson with the move of the night gets along on the high side there.
Oh, very close stuff there. Unbelievable. Just narrowly avoids Joshua Tucker. Actually, on my screen, it said that it showed that he hit the wall, but then the iRacing guys thought better of it. Said that Watson gets away with it. Beautifully done by James Watson to avoid the big one of the night. And he's been rewarded thus far with P3. I'd be very happy. Oh my gosh.
Logan Spath gets into it. Lewis Woodall also spins. It looks like Kresge was in it. Looks like Alex Van de Sande lost the another front wing again. His car is going to have the mismatched front wings like those old Team Menard cars used to have. But yeah, everybody, all sorts of calamity happening on that lap. We've got 32 minutes left in this race. I'm not quite sure we're going to be able to get to the scheduled distance here. We got still more than 80. We got more than about 90 laps still to go. Still, we haven't got to lap 100.
Not quite yet. We are about 58 minutes into this race, about 59 minutes, I should say, in this race, nearly an hour. Reading on the race clock here, we're supposed to go for as long as 2 hours and 25 minutes, and we're just now about at the halfway mark of this race. Hopefully, things will get better, especially with this one clearing out a lot of cars. But this has certainly been a rather slow running tonight, filled with a lot of action, but a lot of calamity.
Yeah, I was kind of telling him in the pre-race when we covered the fixed race here. I think it was right around 100 laps is what they raced for, or was it 80? I think about 85 or something laps. There's Christopher Kresge hitting pit road right there. We're on the blimp cam race verse 1 airship. Yeah, I think we had only two cautions in the fixed race. And I was telling him, I was like, this is going to be probably not quite like the top split fixed race. We're going to see a little bit more in terms of cautions, and I've kind of lost count of where we stand with cautions. Logan Spaeth looks like he is repaired back on the track. Alex Van de Sande is back on the track. Alex is still on the lead lap. Michael Haller still on the lead lap, and he's been playing the long game, but he's also been in a couple of these incidents. He is back in 16th. Lewis Woodall is the first car a lap down. I don't know if he's going to get the wave around. And we'll see. We'll watch him here as he's in that Vor-sponsored GSM car. We're getting ready to go green here, though. He's not going to get the wave around. Next time by. And here we go. And we are back under green. Shane Coogan, Gavin Sanders, James Watson, your top three.
Coogan tried to check them up there, coming to the green flag once more. But once again, Sanders stays with him. James Watson with a great drive himself. He started 18th, now he's third. This has definitely been a great run so far for all three of these guys. And everyone's trying to hopefully get some green flag laps, and I'm sure everyone would want them. But also, I'm sparing a thought as well. Bear in mind the fourth place car right now, the 424 of Nicholas Isidro. He started stone dead last, and he is now in fourth and challenging James Watson for third right now as he works to the outside down the front straightaway. He will clear him. P3 for Isidro. Fantastic race so far for him.
Derek Smith now on the backside of Watson.
Derek Derek Smith looking to the low side in the Ally car.
I am wondering if Watson may have damage from possibly scraping the wall short a little bit there.
Maybe old tires could also be a factor as well. Maybe just caught off guard. But James Watson already struggling. He's got a bit of a gap back to Dan Neese, who is still in P6 after everything that's been said and done. He's still up there. Very persistent, I would say. But James Watson already starting to show a bit of a struggle there. His last lap, and looking at everything getting squared away, his last lap was a 20.876. Derek Smith with a 20.747. And Isidro with a 20.671. About the same as the leaders who are running high fives, low sixes. But Gavin Sanders now looking to the inside on Coogan for the lead. Side by side in turn number 1. Sanders with the run off the corner. They're still wheel to wheel. Down through the dog leg, down the backstretch, into 3 and 4. Sanders uses that low line very well.
Pulls it off.
New leader, number 10.
Great move by my teammate in Velocity Online Racing Series. Awesome move. He drives for me. He drives for me in the Formula Indy Series. So a little biased, but we'll call it by the book here. Gavin Sanders, your leader, followed by Shane Coogan. Nicholas Isidro now making up your top 3. And the top 2 are pulling away, but Isidro, he might actually be crawling back into this battle. Last time by, Isidro, not quite as fast as the top 2, but definitely keeping within reach. And that's the half the battle here, is keeping him within reach.
Exactly, and it's been a solid run so far for Nicholas Isidro. Running fairly close lap times. Everyone else maybe a tad bit slower, actually about a tenth slower there on that last lap. But he's still within sight of the leaders. He's about a second off the lead and 8 tenths off of Shane Coogan now in P2. But now he's got that number 26 machine of Derek Smith to worry about. He's also been on a tear as well. He started 35th, whereas Isidro started 36th. He's up to 4th, and Isidro is 3rd. So guys that started on the last row of the grid are currently battling for a podium spot. Looking at margins right now, and very much the leaders are definitely pulling away. Gavin Sanders bringing Shane Coogan along with him. Isidro may have a different tire situation, and Derek Smith starting to catch him slowly but surely. He is starting to deal with that aero wash issue we've been talking about practically all night at this point. But Smith looks like he's got a quicker car underneath him there. And looks like actually there's been a bit of drama with Justin Miller, none too happy, as he's in a battle with Dan Neese. And actually, yes, this is a very close battle right now. Miller looking to the low side on Dan Neese for P8.
Front of the field starting to experience some lap traffic. This might be the long run that we're going to get. We'll see.
Could be. That's Christopher Kresge that the leaders are working their way by, down in 20th position, 3 laps down.
Dan Neese, almost. I think he actually kissed the wall on exit.
Oh, very close stuff. And this battle's a tight one between Dan Neese, Justin Miller, and Bruno Miranda, who's gotten himself into the situation. And meanwhile, behind them, too, is Alex Van de Sant, who's turning faster lap times than all of these guys with their battle going on.
Yeah, 20.8 to a 21.1 in front of him. Keep in mind, Miranda kind of has no place to go right now.
Miranda, the interested spectator, but also the guy with less options, I would say. Caution's out.
And I do not know where we're at. Might be Logan Spath again. I see him resetting back to the pits. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine here and see what happened.
Looks like he got the wall coming off of 2.
Now, he's possibly dealing with a damaged car, and I don't think he has it. No, he really doesn't have anyone in front of him, so the aero wash is kind of moot here, but we'll see.
Yeah, that would suggest damage, perhaps.
Kind of
but
damaged here. Yeah, he just exits it high, and then, right onto the infield there, making right rear suspension damage, right rear contact, rear wing done. So he is going to reset, and he is probably
out of the
done
race,
for today. Yeah,
unfortunately.
and that's P20.
Meanwhile, the leaders are on the pit road.
Yeah,
Sanders,
bunch of people on pit road.
Derek Smith stays out. James Watson comes in as well. So Smith, Garner, Weisbrod, Dan Neese is in the pits. Justin Miller stays out.
This could be, depending on how many more yellows we have.
And Van de Sant's in too.
This could be the last stop for these guys.
It could be, especially if we get a good number of yellow and they're able to save fuel. Of course, these guys will be wanting to save fuel anyway. They'll not be running map 1 here. They'll be putting themselves in a different fuel map setting. A bit slower than before, but at the same time, you're going to be saving fuel. And at the end of the day, with as close as we are on fuel as we are at this point, that's going to be what matters more than anything else. And depending on the caution situation, this could be the moment where one strategy prevails, another one meets its demise.
Okay, situation at the front. We have Derek Smith, then we have the lap car of Christopher Kresge. Brody Gardner is in P2. Weisbrod is in P3, but he has a lap car in between himself and, let's go back there. That is Peter Donchek. Keep in mind, Donchek was running in the top 10 for most of the day until he got caught up in that spin off of 2 here about 3 cautions ago. Then right behind Weisbrod is Justin Miller. I told you he's been there all day. He's been hovering. He's definitely showing some patience, so he is doing very, very well in the top 5 here. Sean Ryan, P5. Michael Haller, he's had a bit of a rough day. I think he's had a couple near contacts, but he's keeping the car safe and out of major damage and keeping it into contention. He currently is P6. And then we have Ian Lake right there, right above him, and the Team Extreme, or his Team Supreme car. And then Gavin Sanders, who is a car back after that is Lucas Santos. So getting ready to probably go green here next time by, maybe? Nope. We got cars still pitting. We got those lap cars getting out of the way. So we got Christopher Kresge and Peter Donchek coming down pit road.
Derek Smith will be credited with leading laps here. Once we come and when we go back to green, he'll certainly be credited with them at the moment. But looking at everything, it's Derek Smith, Brody Garner, Will Weisbrod, Justin Miller, Sean Ryan, Michael Haller, Ian Lake, Gavin Sanders, Shane Coogan, James Watson. This is going to be, we're definitely at the point where I would imagine that with everything as whittled down as it is, this could well be the point where we will see a long green flag run. Maybe, I don't know, maybe is long enough that we'll go to the end there. I can see a lot of these guys making moves towards the end of this race to get track position at the end here. That could well lead to an incident, but this could be the start of a long green flag run, we hope. But Derek Smith waits for the pace car to peel off, holding them back. And now he gets his foot down right when the green flag flies, and Brody Garner sees it coming. He actually gets a great run. He looks to the inside in turn 1. The lead goes to the 38.
Wow, that's as great restarts go. That is a great restart. He timed it just perfectly. And now Helge Weisbrod on the outside in turns 3 and 4, and he is going to bring Justin Wilson with him. And this is a battle for third. Justin Wilson on the outside, Derek Smith down low, and Derek Smith loses 3 positions in 1 lap.
Unbelievable. What a disappointing start there for Derek Smith.
Oh, he's now attacking Justin again underneath through the dog leg. Justin Smith up high through turns 3 and 4. Getting clean air up to those front wings. Side by side coming off corner exit. Down the front straight, and Justin gets a position yet again.
Again, has to deal with that arrow push there we've been talking about in the middle of the corner there. Justin Miller has to back off, and Justin Miller has to...
Shane Coogan on pit road. Shane Coogan on pit road.
Coogan is in. A green flag pit stop for one of the front-running
there might be
tonight.
damage. There might be damage or something. I'm not quite sure. I think I saw part of his car straighten out as... they're getting it fixed. Is an extended stop. So there is something going on there with one of your leaders a little while ago, and now he's out of contention. And now we're watching Brody Gardner now as your leader. Will Weisbrod, World War III, he is currently P2 in that pink car. Justin Miller, P4. Derek Smith in P6, and Sean Ryan in P5. That is your top 5 right now.
Brody Gardner with a good start, and as much as this may well be an interesting theory, as much as it may well be embarrassing, as Coogan is coming back out in front of the leaders, but I'm wondering something about what happened to Derek Smith on that start. Could he have been in the wrong fuel map setting?
It happens. It really does happen, and that's one of the things when you that I like when I race with a team is we have kind of a checklist that we run down on the one to go, and one of the things that we always check with each other is when especially when we're coming to turn 3 or 4 on an oval, is make sure you're in the right fuel map. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened to somebody. I've done it before, but you learn from those mistakes, and you end up making a middle checklist. Or if you have a team, you all remind each other to get out of the to get into the right fuel map, get onto the right weight jacker setting. Here comes Will Weisbrod on the inside of Brody Gardner, and wow, just goes through rather quickly, almost like Brody just let him go.
May well be the case. It could be that Garner and Smith, they could be saving fuel. They could be looking after their fuel mileage and preparing themselves for to get as little fuel as possible with a splash and go at the end. Maybe even go as far as possible. With a long green flag run that we're expected here, it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility to see them do it.
Justin Miller's trapped. Oh my goodness, we're watching this battle for second right now with Justin Miller 3 wide, almost 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2. I do think that Brody Gardner has turned down the wick. Oh, Justin Miller get a little waggy there.
A little bit of a wiggle there, and Derek Smith is looking everywhere he can to get going there. I think he wants by them as much as Miller does. Miller has got to be frustrated by this as Garner runs a bit high. Oh, Smith's around! Smith's in the grass. Brings it to a stop. That's going to cost. Oh, he gets hit! That's the corner. That was Bruno Miranda. Bruno Miranda hard into him.
Bruno Miranda, so much for kind of hanging out in the back and trying to avoid this stuff. Let's see, did he just have no place to go? Well, he sees it in front of him. I got to imagine that he can see it in front of him. Let's get on the in-car here. I can see it in front of me. And, it's just that puff of smoke, and you weren't sure where the guy was going to go. And he thought he would move, and he didn't. And that is day over for the man who started on the outside pole. And we are back into another caution situation here at Phoenix. We might reach a new caution record. The caution record, I believe, was set at Richmond. If anyone in chat can go back and look at the stats from RIL Richmond Season 1, I believe they had quite a few cautions there. There's Lewis Woodall getting the wave around. I think we're getting pretty close.
It certainly has been a long day behind the pace car. If the pace car was credited for lead laps, he probably would be leading the most laps at this point. Credit goes to the pace car driver. I'll just say it's Burt Mylander for the F1 fans in the audience.
Well, typically for IndyCar races, it's like Johnny Rutherford or one of those guys, but
true. But right now, this is certainly putting into an interesting situation strategy-wise for all these guys worried about their fuel mileage. We're working lap 126, coming to 127 out of 186. So 60 laps to go. This would be around the time where you're certainly able to make it to the end on fuel if you come in now and top off. So, and Will Weisbrod just said himself, please bring out one more yellow so I can pit and guarantee myself.
Yeah, lights are still on the pace car. Will Weisbrod P1, and they're going to have the lap car now, unfortunately, of Shane Coogan. We know he's fast, so that's not going to really, I don't think would be holding up Gavin, so to speak. Coogan is 3 laps down, so he is wanting to probably get one of those back, and really, the way these cautions are going, he might get lucky and get in there. Lewis Woodall on pit road, back on the lead lap. He's in 14th, 14 cars on the lead lap. Lucas Santos is the first car not on the lead lap. He is 2 laps down now, so he will begin to get back around when the next caution occurs. Looking at the current point situation, I was kind of hoping that we would have a point graphics to show you here. We do not, and I want to see if we're getting ready to go 1 to green, because I might want to get a word in from our sponsors. Let's see what happens to the pace car lights. They're going off. So we'll get a word from our sponsors here if we get into a long green session. But we do not have a pit or a point situation graphic, but I can tell you that first in points is Caleb Bency. He's out. Second is Nate Seifert. He's out. Third place, Gavin Sanders, currently P2. Dakota DeMay, currently P11, is in 4th. Johan Shirazi out. Matthew Short, D and Q. Shane Coogan, now a lap down, or 3 laps down. He was in 7th spot. Christopher Hill out. Michael Holler, he's still in this thing. He's 9th in the standings. And Flynn Lazier didn't even show up tonight. He might be the smartest guy of all.
Never the greatest thing to hear when the guy that didn't show up may well be the smart one.
And his father won here.
That's true.
The only win for Riley and
here.
Scott. The only win for Riley and Scott.
And the pace car is down. Will Weisbrod.
Whoa.
Green flag back in the air. He's having to duck down low there, worried about that lap car of Shane Coogan. Coogan's on fresh tires, though. He's going to
here comes Alex Van de Sant. Alex Van de Sant on his 3rd pair of wings.
The pole sitter is on a mission. I am not out of this yet, he's saying. He's got a good gap over Brody Garner, who's going side by side with Justin Miller, coming off of turn number 4. Miller looking low.
Still think Garner. I still think Brody might be in some sort of fuel save. He is currently Brody just stopped. He just stopped, so he should be good to go. No, wait a minute. Brody just stopped. Yeah, he's on 4 laps on this stint. Weisford's 54 into the stint. Sanders and Van de Sant are 19 laps into this, 20 laps into this stint. And we're watching this battle for the mid-pack right here, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Holler looking down low on Justin Miller for P5. Behind them, Sean Ryan. Ryan gets around on the high line of the dog leg. Oh, close call there with a lap car there, but Sean Ryan trying everything he can to make that high line work. This guy's been through the ringer tonight, and he is going ringing around the outside of Michael Holler for P6. And he's bringing Nicholas Isidro along with him. To get around a lap car too. One of the cars that was involved in the big one a little while ago.
There's Santos. Oh, look at Watson. Full send to the tie side. Pulling a Thomas Schechner.
Oh. Beautiful drive there from James Watson. He's gotten himself up to 7th, and now he's got to worry about the lap car there. He had to check up a little bit. I'm sure he's going to be none too pleased about that. Lap car making it very difficult for him. Meanwhile, behind them, Holler dives down low on Isidro. Almost pushes up into him. Holler has to back out. And
I think Watson might have found something up on the high lane that's really agreeing with his car right now, because he can really send her in there.
Looks like it, and he's got a bit more clean air than some of the guys around him. Sean Ryan up ahead of him, P6, has got a bit of a gap between him and Watson, so he may have a bit more grip available. And now he's brought Nicholas
Brody Gardner into the wall. That might have been netcode.
More than a minute.
Kresge into it. Woodall into it. Oh, and I gotta believe I saw Gardner and I saw Justin Miller side by side, and I think we just might have had another episode of This Is Netcode. Let's see. I really want to ride along with Gardner here and just hear. Actually, Gardner might have made contact on the wall and exit of corner 4. Let's go pick it up here a little bit further back. Yes, he did.
To me, didn't look like he actually hit the wall, but that looks like... Was that an overcorrection, it looks like? Yes, it was. It was an overcorrection by Garner. Looks to me, and then it just spears him into the wall.
Okay, looking from Justin Miller's point of view. He gets a run. No, I think Justin cleared him. Let's take a look from the blimp. The blimp does not lie. We're watching from the Race First 1 airship here. Yeah, I think there's just, you're right, you called it. He was a loose on entry, no netcode, no. Well, that was really weird how it goes loose and he starts to go left and then he immediately snaps right. I don't know if that's just the overcorrection and he caught it and steered back. Let's go one more time on board with Brody.
With how crossed up his wheel was there, that looks like it may very well be the case. Just completely over on its side there. And trying to correct as hard as he could, but unfortunately,
let's watch his hands. Let's watch his hands. He did make contact with the wall, that's for sure. Let's watch the hands. Yep. So no contact, no incident foul there. Nothing. That's ARCA brake right there.
Just terrible circumstance there for
goodness
Brody
gracious,
Garner.
and Weisbrod gets that caution, so he is one happy feller, as he is now your current leader. He is currently 62 laps into his current stint, nearly 40 laps longer than P2 Gavin Sanders.
So we definitely would expect to see Weisbrod came in. He said over the radio, please give me another caution so I can come in, top off my fuel, and I'm good to go.
Will Zeller, Lord help us. Well, Lord might help us with time, because we are down to 16 minutes left in this event, give or take. That's what I'm having with the countdown on the ticker there. So I would imagine that is kind of what we have left. Maybe you might be able to tell me a little bit more from some of the screens you get to look at that I can't necessarily bring up because we're in the broadcast. But coming to lap 139, so we're still.
We got just over an hour to go on the clock.
50. Well, I think it's going to be tight. We've got 50 laps.
Which normally at Phoenix wouldn't be too long, but here, with the amount of cautions we've had, you're not exactly sure how long it's going to be. But looking at the way things are now, with 12 cars left on the lead lap and a few more lap down, I can foresee a long green flag run from here almost to the end. I would expect, of course, other drivers to have different strategies. But what's interesting here, Weisbrod's actually staying out. We're going to be coming to green here. He's going to be leading one more time.
I tell you what, once we get going here, we got to get a word in from our sponsors. Schaeffer's been more than patient, and we've given him a lot of action tonight. But we definitely need to get the bills paid. So we'll get green here as Alex Van de Sant looking on the inside.
Start from Weisbrod.
Justin Miller with a move on the outside on the restart. He pulls it off. You do not see that very often, and you do not see that very often at all on Alex Van de Sant.
Not often at all, and likewise, Gavin Sanders with a brilliant start takes full advantage of a slow restart from Weisbrod. They're side by side. Weisbrod's able to hold on to it, coming to the stripe, but Sanders harrying him everywhere. Weisbrod, I'd imagine, is definitely saving fuel as much as he possibly can. Meanwhile, behind them, Miller and Van de Sant. Miller clears him. Van de Sant looking everywhere to try and get back at him. And behind them as well, Sean Ryan and James Watson.
James Watson now taking a peek on the inside, yeah. And Dan Neese, he's in this battle here.
Dan Neese, the interested spectator back there in P7, looking at all that's transpiring in front of him. Meanwhile, Van de Sant looking to the low side on Justin Miller once more in turn 3. Hits the apron a little bit. Does he save it? Yes, he does. He apron bad, but it caught him.
Yeah, and you can see that he was pushing. You can see he was pushing horribly off of the corner. Might have used that apron to help him loosen up the backside to get around there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did that as well. But you saw him get really close to the turn 4 wall there. He had you see the car kind of jerk back away from it. But he is right now, I would say he is a little bit faster than Justin Miller.
Looking to be that way right now, but being faster and passing him are two very different stories, especially here at Phoenix tonight. It's very difficult to make the move work, and the driver in front can defend pretty hard. Of course, they're losing a lot of ground to Gavin Sanders and Will Weisbrod in front of him. Even with Weisbrod, I'd imagine going on fuel save mode here. but they're about a second back from them. But Van de Sant looking everywhere to try and get as much grip as he can, trying to get the run on Miller. Nothing doing so far. He's got to be a bit frustrated as we're approaching 40 laps to go. This is definitely go time for a lot of these guys here, especially since we're expecting to see a lot of green flag laps here, unless, of course, commentators curse happens.
Well, before we do anything else, let's get in a 90-second station break and a word from our sponsors from Schaeffer's Oil.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
And as you see, we are back and in another caution. Let's pick it back up. It looks like it's Dan Neese and Isidro. Here we are on the corner coming off of and Neese comes up into Isidro a little bit. And I'm not sure, again, are we in our old friend Netcode? Let's get a look here in Isidro's car. We might be able to see from him and on the blimp, because the blimp seems to give us our best look at here. And yeah, Netcode. And thank God for the catch fence there, but woof. So two more leaders now out as a result of Netcode. Wow. And we'll see if Will Weisbrod makes the turn to pit road. Yes, he does. Gavin Sanders staying out. Justin Miller staying out. Sean Ryan staying out. James Watson staying out. Michael Haller staying out. Ian Lake staying out. Alex Van de Sant looks like he is on pit road at the moment. This is it for him. He is going to top off. Dakota DeMaid is also hitting pit road, going to get some new rubber and top off. So this is going to be interesting. Also, we're looking at a situation where we might have only 12, 13 cars left running and only the top 10 really on the lead lap. I think that's the case. Neil Lusher is just kind of hanging on to the back end of the lead lap. Not a bad strategy in this case. I believe he went down a lap at one point, got the wave around, and has been kind of on the tail end of the lead lap ever since. And he's doing kind of what I call the Gary strat, which is buying your time, staying on the lead lap, keeping the car out of trouble, and passing people when it's easiest, and that's when they fall out in front of you. But putting the car in a position so it can possibly race for a top 5 or better, that's what he's doing right now. And that's a very smart strategy of saving the car for when it matters most. Not going 3 wide halfway through the race into turn 1.
Indeed. And everyone who has made it through this far, they've been playing it very nicely. They've been playing it very safe, of course. And looking around at the situation here, what's going to be interesting, I think, is going to be tires. Van de Sant, Weisbrod, Dakota DeMaig, and Neil Lusher, they're all on fresh rubber here, whereas the guys in front have somewhat worn out tires. It may not be as much as we've seen earlier on in the race, but I can imagine that Van de Sant and DeMaig and Weisbrod, they're going to be doing everything. And this is definitely go time for them to make up as much ground as possible. Maybe even outrun everybody else around them. But for Gavin Sanders right now, I'm loving the position I'm in right now, leading with good track position.
Only showing some cars still damaged on pit road. Brody Garner on pit road. Looks like he is, I think he's going to be done. Christopher Kresge also showing on pit road. Peter Donchek is still rolling, and he is down, I believe, 13 laps. And as this race goes on, he's just going to move higher and higher and higher ahead of those cars. That is what you call keeping an eye on the point situation. I mean, he's kind of mid-pack in the points, but every point matters, especially the way that the attrition is happening in this race. And he's just keeping at it, getting ready to go green here.
Persistence is an amazing trait to have in these kinds of events.
Same thing with Derek Smith. Derek Smith is doing much of the same. We'll keep it here on Blimp Cam as we are getting ready to go green. Justin Miller putting a little bit of space between himself and Gavin Sanders here on the restart. Tightening up. Gavin watches that watches the pace car dip in. Will he wait? Will he go? Here he goes. It is a great start. I don't think Justin was ready for it. And we are underway here. Lap 151 of 186, now 152, and we're coming to the closing stages. And it is still a long race to go the way that this thing is unfolded tonight.
James Watson with a big run on Sean Ryan for P3. He will clear him going into turn number 3. So move Watson once more up to P3. A very solid run for him tonight. But Gavin Sanders definitely got a good launch on Justin Miller on that restart. But meanwhile, the battle behind them is allowing Miller to have a bit of breathing room right there. Sean Ryan, James Watson, and Michael Holler, who's been, again, putting it and playing it very safe tonight, and is working out very well. He's got a top 5 on him. But once again, here comes Alex Van de Sant. He is on an absolute flyer right now. He's faster than the guys ahead of him. Not by too terribly much, but I can definitely see with the battle going on ahead of him, this can only be a good thing for him, for his chances.
Coming to 30 to go.
Sanders with about a second lead over Justin Miller behind him. And likewise, he's got about 0.6 of a second over James Watson. Sean Ryan.
This battle for 4th is going to be something here very shortly.
Definitely so. Sean Ryan has a lot of pressure from the 64 machine of Michael Holler, but the 317 of Alex Van de Sant, the pole sitter, is definitely back in the mix. His last lap was 0.3 faster than Holler ahead. He is absolutely flying right now.
Alex driving the 317, representing the Central Indiana area code. That's home.
Back home again in Indiana. I'm sure they're cheering for him tonight. A great run so far. Good recovery drive from everything that's happened. He's gone through a front wing. He's gone through a rear wing. He's
gone through another front wing.
Gone through another front wing. I'm sure Dalara's loving his services tonight for them. But now he's looking to the low side on Michael Holler for P5. Our pole sitter, Van de Sant, too wide. He just clears him on the exit of the corner and moved that 317 machine up into P5.
Holler was he was gonna not give an inch there, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. This is the time in the race where you're not gonna give it. Look who's coming now. Look who's coming now. P7 Will Weisbrod. He is on the move.
Weisbrod on the charge once more, running that middle line through 1 and 2. Looking at lap times once more. Of course, he was a lot faster than Holler because Holler had to deal with Van de Sant on that last lap. But Weisbrod on those fresh tires, the same situation as Van de Sant. I can imagine that he's going to be salivating at the chance there. If Van de Sant can do it, I wager I can too.
Now watching Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan had a bad exit off of 2, going into 3, and it looks like Van de Sant is underneath him. Van de Sant now into the top 4.
Makes quick work of Sean Ryan there. Like you said, had a bobble coming off of turn number 2. Ryan trying to get the run back on him, going down the front straightaway. Not quite doing it there. But the fastest guy on the circuit right now is very definitely going to be Alex Van de Sant once we get lap times that are representative of each other. And now next in his sights, at least for a podium, is James Watson in that number 39.
I think over the course of last season, and James Watson is the inaugural Turbo Series champion, which is kind of like the feeder series to the Schaeffer Series, and he won the Cup there and came full-time to the IndyCar Series last season. Had a really good run. It's probably one of the most improved drivers. Had a really good run at Fontana, almost won that race. I think he had a top 5 finish in the points. He just kind of hung around all race long, and there goes Alex right around him as he kind of let him go going into 3.
Made it very easy for Van de Sant. I imagine Watson is probably keeping an eye on his fuel gauge right now. Van de Sant obviously doesn't have to worry about that, but he just makes quick work of James Watson, still running very solidly in 4th place, but now he's going to be under pressure from the 909 of Sean Ryan behind him. I would imagine in his case, he's going to be a bit worried in that situation, but for Van de Sant, Looking at lap times right now, he's faster than both the leaders, and with 3.3 seconds to make up to the lead, it's possible. It's going to be a big ask, but Van de Sande could make something happen. P2, maybe even a win if things fall his way.
Justin Miller just almost got in contact with Donchek as on the exit of 3 and 4 there. Had so much head of steam, almost made contact. Managed to pull out in the last second. He is now around the lap traffic, and now Alex Van de Sande is looking at putting another lap on Peter Donchek.
Not at all what Miller wanted there, and Donchek moves down low to let Van de Sande go this time. Bit easier for him in this instance, but looking at everything here, he's now within 1 second of Miller. Obviously, tire wear and the aero push is going to be a big question mark for Van de Sande right now. But looking at everything at the moment, Van de Sande has a mega fast car underneath him. It's going to be a close call here for P2. And all this is allowing Sanders
7 tenths to Miller, 6 tenths to Miller now. 6 tenths to Miller. We got the intervals up on the screen. That's live, real time. He is now 5 tenths, 6 tenths back to Miller. Oh, little squirrely coming off of turns 3 and 4 there. Right along. Let's see how he does it here. What's the secret for Alex Van de Sande? Got some slower traffic up ahead. 5th gear. High entry, getting down low. Feathering the throttle. Doesn't even shift. A lot of people do shift down the 4th there. 5th gear down the front straight. Into 6th gear. Dropping at the 4th in turns 1 and 2. Going to negotiate around Neil Lusher. That is going to put him a lap down. So now we have the top 9 on the lead lap.
And looking at Van de Sande's line right now, it's looking to me like it's once again the game I see with on a lot of tracks. It's find the clean air for Alex Van de Sande. It's going to be very hard to do on a track like Phoenix, but every little bit helps. He's getting as much of a run as he possibly can coming off the corner in 4th gear, trying to get the toe down the straight. Doesn't shift down in the 3 and 4. Probably doesn't want the downshift to shift the weight of the car onto those rear tires. Doesn't want it to over-rotate.
Here's Lucas Santos. He's lap down. He was among some of the folks that have led today. Oh,
Miller is not going to like that for the lap car. Van de Sande looking down low. Miller on the high line, trying to get the run off. He does so. But I'm sure Justin Miller is sweating bullets in his helmet right now.
Now this is Miller's first race of the season, so he's really not into the point situation. He's not looking at any gain. He's just looking for the best finish possible. Much the same way for Alex. Alex is looking for just the best finish possible. The person that's really in the point situation is Gavin Sanders, and he's run away 3.5 seconds ahead of this battle right here. Van de Sande is around. No, they're side by side coming through 2 into the dog leg. Van de Sande with just a nose, but it's not going to be nose. They're going to be side by side again, going into turns 3 and 4 on the exit of 4. And it looks like Van de Sande has pulled that pass off, and now he can set sail to Sanders as we are coming now to about 10 laps to go. Will he have time? Sanders with a 3.7 second lead.
It's going to be a big ask for Van de Sande. I'm not too sure if he can surmount it in the time. He's got better tires than everyone else, but the question I'd have is, how much can he make up lap after lap? We're working lap 176 of 186. We'll be coming to 10 laps to go next time by as Van de Sande works his way around Nicolas Isidro. Certainly not what he was looking for there. He was only a 10th of a second faster than Sanders, so unless we get a late race caution, I think Sanders may well be in the clear. Van de Sande says in chat, I'm going for first. Go for it. I just don't know how close you're going to get.
Currently watching the battle for 6 between Haller, Weisbrod, and DeMade. That is the closest battle on the racetrack. Where are we grunting? Who are we looking at?
Van de Sande got loose coming off of turn number 2. He is rigging this thing, trying to get up towards
He's losing time.
Sanders.
He's now 3.9 seconds. Down on the apron there.
May have overdone it a wee bit there, but Van de Sande, solid P2 for him tonight. Just keep it steady. Don't do anything silly to throw it away with a few laps to go. But getting back to this battle here between Sean Ryan, who's just gotten around the lap car, Michael Haller, Will Weisbrod, and Dakota DeMay. These two in particular are 7th and 8th. This is looking to be a pretty close battle coming towards the checkers.
Now these guys, with this many laps to go, especially if they're in a point situation, the Maid, Holler, those two, they got to really start thinking of their points future. Weisbrod, kind of in the same boat there. How much they want to push the issue, how much maybe they just want to, discretion's the better part of valor, just getting out of this day the way it's been, finishing this race and get those points that they're looking for, a big gain in the standings. We should get the points updated fairly quickly, immediately following this race while we're in the interview, so we'll check the situation. But those guys that are in the point situation probably want to think about finishing first and not really starting the race a lot now at this point.
Very much not. It'd be the prudent thing to do, especially if you're in Dakota DeMay situation. Of course, the defending series champion and looking to make a good points haul out of this event. He may have started fourth, but still a top 10 is going to be a good result, especially when a lot of your championship contenders have wrecked out or even didn't even get the chance to qualify for the race. So this is going to be a big night, I'd imagine, with a big points shakeup. So DeMay is going to enjoy a top 10 finish when he looks at that score sheet.
But you got to get there. 4 miles to go. Gavin Sanders, the leader. He has a 2.6 second lead now, so Van de Sande has chewed into it a little bit. Will he have enough time? As Gavin just taking some things easy on the tires here. He does have a lap car in front of him in the form of, not sure who that is. Might be Ian Lake. I think that's Ian Lake there in the 222. Yes, that is Ian Lake. Gavin Sanders last season won at Pocono in the RIL here, looking to get another win under his belt in the RIL series. He is now coming to 2 to go. Van de Sande now 2.1 seconds.
Van de Sande certainly catching him. Unfortunately for him, it will not be in time. I wager if there was 15 laps more in this race, then we may well be more excited for a lead battle.
Poor Ian, though. I mean, he's been on the lead lap all day, and with 2 to go, he gets passed. White flag, I believe we got white flag coming. Final lap right here. White flag in the air. We're watching our leader, Gavin Sanders, negotiate through the dog leg. He has a lap car between himself and P2. Looking on the corner, on the exit of corner number 4, coming to the checkers, Gavin Sanders survives a war.
Gavin Sanders survives it through thick and thin and gets a victory from 25th on the grid to P1.
24 spots gained. Wow. Oh, Holler's backwards for some reason. Not sure what happened there. Holler. Maybe go back in time here. Maybe we had a situation where he was, we are damaged too. So I think maybe...
Looks to me, got loose coming off of turn 2 on the last lap, hits the wall, tries to limp it around, and actually crashes once again on the entry to 3. Very lucky that the guys around him.
Was he finished at that point?
No, that was on the final lap. Actually, he got hit by Will Weisbrod.
Oh.
After he had finished. Holler still technically is on his last lap. So he will be scored a lap down, it looks like, still in P8.
And Weisbrod they've interchanged wheels. Oh my goodness. Well, Gavin Sanders is already punched out. I would imagine he is probably wringing his hands here of sweat in his brow. Let's go ahead and get rid of these graphics here, and let's get the final results from, wow, a heck of a day here at Phoenix in the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. Revolution IndyCar League. And actually I had to change the overlay here, so here we go. There we go. Make sure we get the right title on there. So Gavin Sanders got the win. Alex Van de Sande, everybody hit him. He hit everything that you could hit. Manages to bring her home in second. I bet he feels he probably wanted that win, but I bet you he feels P2 despite everything is pretty good. Justin Miller, his first start of the year, P3. We'll listen to him and see what he has to say on a couple situations he was in on the track. James Watson, good top 5. Looks like he might have had an issue mid-race, but either it was repaired or it wasn't a big of an issue, or maybe he was light-footing it and making sure the car would be there under him instead of really hustling it around and possibly getting into a wreck. He brings it home for us. Sean Ryan, top 5. Will Ricebrook, Dakota DeMaid, Michael Holler, Ian Lake, and Shane Coogan. Shane finished a couple laps down, but he finished in the 10th spot. That's your top 10. Your top 15 is Neil Lusher, Lucas Santos, who led some laps tonight, Peter Donchek, who had a good first half of the race, Nicholas Isidro, who had a good 3/4 of the race until he got taken out by a wreck, and Derek Smith, about the same thing. He's in top 15. So all these guys back here in the 15 on back, it's for the most part, they were all up with these in contention in the top 10 at some point. 16th, Dan Neese. 17th, Brody Garners. 18th, Lewis Woodall. 19th, Christopher Kresge. 20th, Bruno Miranda. 21 through 25, you got Logan Spaeth, Joshua Tucker, Caleb Binsey, one of the points leaders, going to have a bad day. Maxon Obenauer, Christopher Hill. 26 through 30, Jonathan Libator, Hayden Herman, Christian Jasper, Nagasiya Yoshikawa, and Nick Mannery. Going on to the next page, we got a good field here. Nate Seifkert in 30th, Matt Cosgrove 31, JJ Wang 32, Alex Teeter 33. Johan Shirazi, 34, Michael Heinekamp, 35, Matthew Short, 36, and I'm not sure why the overlay is going like that. We'll have to report that and see get it into a bug. But that is the situation. Let's bring it back to the first start here. Get that top 15 on the board, and let's go take a look here in the interview room. I'm sure they are all probably in major conference with each other, talking about how relieved they are to have this thing over. So let's go take a look here. We do not have Justin Miller. That's too bad. Let's see if he matches.
See Brandetant and Sanders though.
Let's see if is he in here? Is he in? Here's Justin. I'm gonna send him a message. Say come to the waiting room. All right, let's see if he gets that. But we'll go ahead and we'll talk with Alex first. Oh, there he is. Justin did get in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring Justin on up first. Hey, Justin. First of all, you're on mute, man. But thanks for making the interview. I didn't think you were going to make it there for a second. P3, I first of all, this is your first race of the season, so I bet you didn't know how big this field was going to be. And second of all, how exhausted are you really after this? Because you were seemingly in a fight for a position every lap all night long. And you're still on mute if that's, you can take it off. Might not be able to. All right, let's go ahead and let's send him back down to waiting for interview, and maybe he's went to take a break real quick. Let's bring up Alex Van de Sant. Hey, Alex, up in the booth here. In your number, I don't know how many races you have under your belt, in hundreds probably now. Where does this rank in terms of how you feel exhausted now at this point?
Honestly, not too bad.
No?
I mean, we had a lot of time just to chill under yellow.
True.
But, I mean, yeah, it was a tough last stint trying to, get through the pack with fresh tires and, 4 more laps I would have gotten Gavin. It was close, but, yeah, just not quite enough. Didn't get as good of a start, initial start as I needed for that, but, yeah, just lots of. I mean, the strategy changed throughout the race constantly. I was on a fuel save strat for a lot of it.
Surprise, surprise.
And then, yeah, it just it was not a whole lot of strategy. It was very hard to manipulate it. You just kind of had to guess when you would get a long run, and then that's when you would pit. But,
right.
So kind of frustrating, but I'm glad I got a podium out of it after getting ARCA braked and all that. But, yeah.
You seemingly were a target for quite a few incidents gone through at least 2 front wings, possibly a rear wing as well. How many times did you have to stay in the pits for some repairs?
No, it was just a front and a rear because we had that restart incident. Car in front didn't get going as quickly as I expected, and I hit him, and then I got hit from behind, but that didn't do any damage somehow. I think it hurt Dan probably, but and that was the front wing, and then I was checking up for the wreck. I got hit from behind, and that just broke the rear wing. I got really lucky too because that should have broken my suspension. Like he went over the top of me on my screen, but all that cost me was track position. I guess I went a lap down for the restart incident, but with the lucky dog in the series, that kind of saved me. So, got lucky overall, and just lost track position. And obviously, at the end, I was still able to make it up. Had enough pace.
Steven?
One thing I've wanted to ask the whole time, after that Big One incident, how worried were you that you would have had damage more than just wing damage?
I was pretty worried, yeah. I was trying to judge whether or not I would have like suspension damage in the rear, and it wasn't really wiggling around too much. Honestly, I was more worried about after the restart incident. Like if I had like my front right wheel, I thought looked a little weird, but I didn't know exactly how much tread I was able to see. But before I took the hit, but. I think it was just the wings, and again, it's just really lucky for me that I didn't come away with worse damage.
Very lucky indeed.
Yeah. While we have you here, shout outs. It's cold, so I would imagine there's some chili mix that you want to talk about that everybody can buy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even though it's not on your car.
No, I'm running the beautiful Power Slide car from
Team Power Slide. Yep. Shout out to them.
Foxy iRacing paints, and she did a great job with that. But my usual sponsor, big shout out to them, Happy Trails Chili Company. It's available on Amazon. It's just really easy chili mix that makes really good winter meal. You can put it on like ribs or meat as like a dry rub. It's pretty great. And then my other usual sponsor, lmcgear.com.
All right, you got it, man. Well, I think you probably earned a bit of a break, but way to survive, way to persevere. I know you haven't made all the races this year, and you're probably not in the points championship, but it says you made up 19 positions in the points. So points have been updated. So we're saying there's possibly a chance.
No, well, unfortunately, I can only make the next 2 races, and I've got other commitments coming up. But, I'm glad. Thanks to Chris for letting me do this middle stint of the season. So Long Beach, and then I think iRacing Super Speedway. So 2 really interesting tracks. Hopefully they go better than this, but looking forward to them.
You got it. Well, I will see you on the grid at iRacing Super Speedway, but everyone else will see you next week at Long Beach. Congrats, and we'll check you later.
Thanks, fellas.
Justin Miller is back in the interview room. Let's go ahead and move him on up and see if I can repeat my question to him. Hey, Justin, we got you now?
Yep, I'm clear, Gary.
All right, awesome. So I don't know if you heard my question from before, but this is your first start of the year. I didn't know if you really anticipated having 36 cars on a 1 mile oval showing up, which says a lot of growth for this series, by the way. The admins have done a really good job getting people really interested in this series. So showing up tonight, it was good to see you. But man, you were in a fight almost every single lap of this race, other than the ones on their caution. Maybe you were in a fight there too, from preventing someone from running into the back of you. But tell us about your race, because it just really seemed like you were engaged at all times.
Yeah, that's an intense race. I like the full fields, and I like being in a league that has this much participation. I wish we could have had a lot more green flag running. I felt like you didn't really get into a stint where you could save your tires, and it makes it hard to develop pit strategy. But yeah, I mean, I was engaged the whole race. I was sweating there at the end. This is a fun little track if you get guys that can keep it clean and green, and running up front with guys like Gavin and Alex, Dakota, Ben C, a bunch of those guys. It can be really fun. Unfortunately, had a lot of yellow, so it kind of made it hard to plan what to do with everything. And then I ended up a little bit heavy there at the end, which cost me. But all in all, fun race and a good debut, I think.
Steven?
Very much so. You survived through the thick and thin of it. Mainly what I would ask about this is, would you say that, well, since you said that, since this was your first start in the series, you excited for the next ones to come?
Definitely. I'm planning on being a regular in this one from now on, finishing out the year and trying to move my way up in the points and setting myself up for a good start at the beginning of next season.
Fantastic. And also one other thing I noticed was there were a few times where there were some close calls for you in that race, and you didn't seem to be too terribly pleased with the with some of the guys around. What happened then? What happened there?
Yeah, I ended up kind of going 3 wide there. At one point, the guy decided to block low instead of block high, so I had to let off. We made a tiny bit of contact, and then the next lap, I tried to get him on the outside, which is essentially the only place you can really make a pass if you're on equal tires and equal weight. And when I was to his outside, I had my nose there, and he kind of creeped up into me, and I told him I didn't like it too much. So it was back-to-back laps coming in the same spot. I ended up getting blocked and making a little contact. So I wasn't pleased, but not bad. I also had a couple times with lap cars that I got caught up. But it's fun. It's fun being aggressive. I didn't really get too close to wrecking or anything like that. My wreck avoidance was, I got to practice it during practice too, which was nice. So
yeah, we saw practice was full of wrecks. Yeah. Well, congratulations while we have you here. Shout out to anybody that might be watching. Anybody want to say hi to at home?
Yeah, Lawn Medic first off, sponsoring the car, and then my race strategist, Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike Connors helped me get into the top 3 podium in my first race in this league. So looking forward to talking to you guys quite a bit more.
Oh, Uncle Mike. So apparently at the end of the season, silly season, people can go see, maybe contract out Uncle Mike. But congratulations.
He's the best. Yeah.
Congratulations on the 3rd place. And hey, maybe we'll see at Long Beach and then beyond. So congrats, and it's great to see you in the series.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, let's go to him back to the interview room, and let's bring up our winner. Hey, Gavin, we got you here, man. I know you had a lot of. I was asking some of the guys how tired they are, and they're like, "Well, I had a lot of caution laps, but for the laps that it seemed like you guys are racing extraordinarily hard. How do you feel?"
I gotta go to the washroom really bad, to be honest. Otherwise, though, probably better than most, I'd say. It was an interesting one, that's for sure.
Win tends to make things better.
Makes up for the 14 cautions or whatever it was.
Yeah, I do we know the official number on that? Is that 14?
I believe 14 and 56 caution laps.
Oof.
Wow.
We got to go back and see what I think that I want to know how close that is.
It doesn't beat Richmond.
It doesn't beat Richmond? Okay. So that's what everyone's saying. Okay. All right. It seemed like it, but
yeah,
okay.
It sure felt like it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when you pitted, you kind of went back to the mid-pack, and man, some of those wrecks in front of you, just so close. So close. I mean, just make a decision to go the other direction, you're probably in it. How dicey was it in the back there when you're trying to come up through after making that first pit stop? Because I know racing with you before and as a teammate in another series, I'm sure you didn't want to pit. Well, you know you needed to pit, but you didn't want to pit and then end up in the middle of that mess, and that's where you had to restart. And how dicey was it in the mid-pack there?
Yeah, it definitely came down to just going until I knew I could make it on fuel. It's like, just how many cautions will it take until I get to 70 laps to go, pretty much. So once we hit that, I just said there's no other option. I'm gonna get absolutely freight trained by, and there's no way I can make it otherwise. And who knows if another caution will come out? But unsurprisingly, another one did. But yeah, it more or less came down to that. And then once the wrecks started happening, it was kind of you kind of had to place your bets, and if you used your brakes, you were probably one of few, and you just kind of had to pull off to the side and hopefully not get run over. I know there's a few dicey calls, especially one going for the lead where it was just foot to the floor, and I was trying to get on the brakes and get off and get out of the way. But yeah, all around, not the worst thing ever, I'd say.
Steven?
And getting back to the whole strategy thing, like, because it seemed like the way the race could have gone in any case, and you obviously were playing your game there. How stressed were you at times when it came down to the strategy you went?
I think when it came down to it, once the that final yellow came out, which are the final one where Alex pitted, and it kind of split the top three. I felt a little bit better, just on the fact that for some reason there's a lot of cars circulating that should not have been on the track, in my personal and experienced opinion, but it was so I felt a little bit more cozy with the fact that Alex, obviously being a very competent, is to put it lightly, a very successful driver. He knows what he's doing and how to put himself in a good position, and out there it was just kind of hard to find your spot. So I felt pretty good about my chances of kind of making the most of the track position and getting out there. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit dicey when I turned away from pit road and saw him pull back in, and I was like, oh no, here we go. This is where it happens, right?
So before we get you have your shout out, so let's look at the point situation now. Again, we don't have a graphic to show everybody at home. I could probably drag the browser screen in here, but we'll do that now. So Caleb still leads, which is amazing. Yes. And despite your win, you now have actually 3 wins this year. You have wins at
both the road courses and this, I think.
Yeah. So actually, and that's in addition to winning from Pocono last year. So this is your 4th RIL win?
Something like that.
Something like that.
On a roll here.
Yeah. No. So your 3rd win, 4 top 5, 6 starts. Probably want that Michigan race back, I would imagine.
Oh my God.
But you're 9 points behind Caleb. You're 22. Hello.
But yeah, looking at the
can you hear me now?
Situation here.
There we go.
Can you hear me now,
Gary? Yes.
I think we had a bit of a power spike. I don't know if we're still streaming. I think we are. Yeah, I think we are. But yeah, let's round out the points here. So
as it is, we are still streaming.
We are still very good, very good. So 22 Nate's behind you. Dakota holds serve. He's 67 behind the lead. Johan Shirazi, who had probably the worst race of everybody today, he's still in the top 5. James Watson up 5 spots. He had a great race. Shane Coogan holds his serve. He's still 7th. Michael Holler up a spot, 8th. Christopher Hill down a spot, 9th. And Sean Ryan up 5 spots to top 10. So despite everything, Caleb's still hanging on. But man, there's still this is a halfway point. Still a long way to go. You're not out of this thing yet, right?
No, I definitely don't think so. I just more or less looking at the points. It's just a huge credit to the top 4 drivers at the halfway point in the season. Like the 4 guys, every week in, week out, you can race with them. You can kind of negotiate on the track with them, and it goes to show who makes the most out of it, because it's pretty damn tight so far.
Shout outs.
Shout out to Team VOR, Team Raceverse, Alpine Stars, Breeden Motorsports, Stilo, Fat Bastard Burrito. I think that's everyone. Oh, hold on. Wait up 1 second here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And then we have Fiber Data Exchange.
Yeah.
And Midwest Internet Exchange.
There you go.
Let's go. Okay, I got it. Perfect. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
2 wins on the night.
That's right. Congratulations. 3rd win of the season. I believe it's your 4th overall in the RL. 2nd place in the points. Moving on to Long Beach, which is, I know, another course you're pretty good at. But Gavin is too. So it's going to be a great shootout for Long Beach. We'll definitely see you in a week, hopefully.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see you then.
All right, you got it, man. Congrats. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, boom. He drops himself I didn't have to move them. That's awesome. Okay. Power surges aside, I'm not sure what the hell happened there. I have to go check the server logs, find out what the hell happened. Let's do, we got to pay the bills. We'll do one more time. I know it's going to be a side-by-side, but we want to definitely pay the bills for Schaeffer here. And then when we come back, again, I don't know what the broadcast situation will be next week, but we'll talk a little bit about Long Beach, just a little bit, and then final thoughts on the night, and we will get on out of here. So just want to pay some bills. Thank the guys at Schaeffer's for definitely supplying the funds for allowing us to be here and be a part of your Wednesday night.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, thanks guys at Schaeffer's once again. Final thoughts on the night, man. It's this is your first RIL race. I think I kind of warned you ahead of time that we might be in for an adventure tonight, and well, adventure supplied.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
I hope everyone at home had a good time watching. We appreciate everyone chatting and everything. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Got 9. That's great. You guys have been great at home. So make sure you do that. Even if you're watching after the fact, smash the like button. Because a lot of the guys that finished certainly earned it. Combat pay, optional, I guess.
And I'd imagine a lot of these guys would want to get combat pay out of this one because this was a fight tonight. It's been rough and tumble. It's been a war of attrition in many ways. And those that kept themselves safe throughout the race benefited the most. Not least of all, Gavin Sanders did an amazing job, played everything right. Alex Van de Sant was through the fire and flames for most of it, still got P2 out of it just through sheer determination and a bit of good fortune. And everyone else that made it to the end, this was it wasn't exactly the cleanest race I've ever seen. I'll put it that way. I've certainly seen worse. Don't get me wrong, but it's showing how competitive everyone is here. Everyone believes they have a great car underneath them. They just need to get the track position, get up there. And unfortunately for them, there was just moments where it didn't quite go right. Some of them got wrecked by netcode. Others just running a bit too close for comfort, and some was just a minor driving error. But what really separated them, the men from the boys tonight was just being patient, being attentive to the situation, and getting the car to the finish. And our winner Gavin Sanders. He's experienced that, and he's experiencing the best of that right now.
Yep, sure did. Can't wait to get back into the Discord once we wrap up the stream and see what everyone's saying. I'm sure that there's quite a few conversations going on right now. Maybe a lot of DMs, but we'll see. Got on the screen schedule for the remaining part of the season. We're halfway through. We got 2 more races, and we have a week break. Then we go on a bit of a European tour. Come back to the States for a first-time race at Nashville Superspeedway and finish up at Watkins Glen and Homestead. But coming up next is Long Beach. This is a track I know you're very familiar with. Tell me about Long Beach and what we can expect there. And then after that race, we're going on to the iRacing Super Speedway, where I will hop in the Schaeffer-sponsored Dallara IR18. I will be a part of that race, and I'm looking very forward to that. But first, Long Beach. Tell us about Long Beach.
Long Beach. It's that one is certainly, the races there usually turn into races where if you keep the car clean, you're going to get a good result. And it's very hard to make moves there, so passing opportunities are at a premium, so it's going to encourage people to take risks if they're well behind the 8 ball. But Long Beach is looking to be very exciting. Very exciting. It usually is, and it's one of the reasons why it's been such a fixture in the racing scene for a long time. It's a challenge. It's exciting to watch. The street circuits are very hard. They're very hard, but they're very enjoyable in how hard they are. And Long Beach, with as big a field as we've seen tonight, maybe a bit smaller if the situation's a bit different. Either way, we're still going to see a lot of people going for very little real estate. So I'd imagine there's going to be a lot to look forward to.
The concrete canyons, as we say, the very unforgiving concrete canyons. So we should be there one way or another. Race First will be there next week, whether it's Steven and me or Matt and me. One way or another, we will be there covering the action. So we hope that you will join us. Of course, Matt, we are thinking of you and whatever it is you're doing, and we'll hope to see you next week. But let's go ahead and let's just send her home now, because we've had a long night, and I want to go spend some time with my family after this.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that little hiccup is possibly impacting my music getting out of here. So let me see, what else can we do here about that? Yeah, I don't know if people can do that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But let's go ahead and get on out of here. So that's it for tonight. Once again, you're voting from Legacy Phoenix is Gavin Sanders, Alex Henderson, and Justin Miller. Great finish for all three of those guys. Join Race First again next Wednesday, as we'll be coming to you from Long Beach for round 7 of the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaeffer IndyCar Series. That's next Wednesday night, roughly around 7:45 Eastern Time on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Now you know the YouTube algorithm game's not easy, so help support Race First with the weekly grind. Please leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, please support us by smashing like in the video, and if you're new, click subscribe while you're at it. Hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race First iRacing programming, including our coverage of, and this is Steven and me, the official iRacing Fixed IndyCar Series, the Monday night Indy Split, and starting next Tuesday, it is the return to one of the most prestigious IndyCar leagues in all of iRacing. It's the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series. Join our coverage of the FIS as it kicks off its 3rd season at Suzuka Circuit in Japan, right here on Race First. And announcing tonight, starting on Friday, May 13th, so Friday the 13th, join myself, Steven, and undoubtedly others as we will be bringing you coverage of the fixed Indy 500 bottom split. Yes, so the bottom split coverage of Friday the 13th of the Indy 500. Just let that sink in. We'll see you there. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Gatto, on Twitter at Gary Gatto. So for Steven Larkamp, everyone at Race First, I am Gary Gatto saying to all, Happy New Year to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again. Catch us next week for the next race of the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaeffer IndyCar Series. Good night.